I'm pretending to cultivate immortality in kindergarten. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 276 Future Plans. Lin's Hengren explained, her name is Zhang Jingxi. I think Lily and He Qing have also seen her. She is the current vice president of Jiangxi Company, in the silent atmosphere. Zhang Zuli and He Qing stared at Lin's Hengren with their big eyes. Zhang Zuli stood up suddenly and clenched her fists. Zhang Jingxi. President Zhang? Zhengren, you took her in too. Lin's Hengren nodded. Zhang Zuli's face also immediately showed jealousy. She stared at Lin's Hengren for a while and sat down again, whispering, I knew that woman's eyes were not right when she looked at Zhengren at the beginning. Sure enough, my sixth sense is still very accurate. He Qing also knew who Zhang Jingxi Lin's Hengren was talking about. She was Zhang Jin's sister. Unexpectedly, Zhang Jin didn't end up with Lin's Hengren. Instead, her sister was with Lin's Hengren. Little He Qing asked in a low voice, when did it happen, Lin's Hengren? Didn't I go to the company last week? We were together at that time. Little He Qing pursed her lips and put her hands on her thighs. She said sweetly, is that so? Okay, then there's one more person. Remember to take us to meet her some other day. Lin's Hengren touched Little He Qing's head. I'll let you meet her in a few days after we return from this trip. Little He Qing smiled with a blushing face. That sister is indeed quite pretty. Lin's Hengren looked at Zhang Zuli who was pouting. Lily, Zhang Zuli reacted after being called, her little face embarrassed. What's the matter? Don't you have anything to say? I say? What can I say? Zhang Zuli sighed helplessly. Since Hengren likes it, then this is the only way. Anyway, since he said he wants to have 6 girlfriends, the 4th one is just a matter of time, and I don't hate President Zhang. She looked at Lin's Hengren, but Zhengren, Zhang Jingxi is the eldest daughter of the Zhang family, right? Can a woman of her status accept that you have so many girlfriends? It stands to reason that the family rules of such a big family are very strict, right? I have thought about this question, so I will visit her house after I return from my trip. As for things like family rules, in fact, even if the family rules are not so strict, it is difficult to accept that your daughter is with a boy who likes many girls, right? It's all the same. He Qing blinked at Zhang Zuli. Han Wenwen said with a coquettish look, accept or not, if not, I will elope with Brother Zhengren. Wenwen has decided to be with Brother Zhengren for the rest of her life. Of course, I think my parents won't care about this matter, and I don't even know who my father is, Zhang Zuli said. I also want to express my opinion on this matter. I know it will be troublesome at that time, but I will try my best to persuade my parents to agree. After all, I have only liked you since I was a child. I can't like anyone else. He Qing nodded and raised her hand. Me too. Even if my mother doesn't let me marry you, I will be with you and will not separate from you. Little He Qing, who is usually very timid, is particularly stubborn in such a big matter, and Lily is also rarely direct. Lin's Hengren promised, don't worry, the 3 of you, although this matter is difficult, I will go to your homes one by one to propose marriage until the uncles and aunts agree. After saying that, Zhang Zuli suddenly shuddered. Lin's Hengren reminded, isn't it a bit cold? Let's stop chatting here. Let's go back to the hot spring and talk. The 3 girls responded. The 4 of them went back to the hot spring together. Halfway through, Zhang Zuli asked again, if so many people marry Zhengren, won't everyone be able to get a marriage certificate? Han Wenwen nodded. The country stipulates that there is only monogamy, so Brother Zhengren certainly can't get a marriage certificate with us, but the wedding ceremony can still be held. It doesn't matter. It's a personal behavior. Little He Qing clasped her hands in front of her and smiled. The marriage certificate doesn't matter. It's just a piece of paper. If you don't like each other, this piece of paper is useless and you will get divorced. If you like each other, you will be together forever without this piece of paper, so it doesn't mean anything. Just like my mother always said, couples without feelings will eventually separate sooner or later. Han Wenwen interrupted, I think so too. Whether people can be together in the end depends on their hearts. Zhang Zuli sighed. What you two said is so idealistic. Although this is indeed the case, what about the child's household registration? Han Wenwen poked her chin with her hand. Is this okay? I saw on the news that it is predicted that even illegitimate children will be able to be registered in the next few years. Lin's Hengren thought that this was indeed the case before he was reborn. After all, The future society is a little short of population. When one is right, there is no need to worry about the children. Zhang Zuli pinched her waist and smiled. Then there is no problem, although it seems a little early for us to talk about this, she said shyly. Zhengren, when do you plan to propose marriage? After graduation from college, but I have several girlfriends. I think I will tell my uncles and aunts before graduation. After all, it will take time to get their consent. Everyone returned to the hot spring pool and soaked in the hot spring for a long time. They didn't realize that they were off topic while chatting, and talked and laughed about other things. However, when Zhang Zuli was soaking in the hot spring, she thought that Zhengren would also like girls like Zhang Jingxi's sister type. This guy is really not picky about all types of girls, a playboy. After soaking in the hot spring, Lin Zhengren and the other four walked through the corridor in the backyard and returned to the first floor of the hotel. Just as they passed the door, they saw an old man and an old woman sitting under a tree outside, washing their hair with a wooden basin. The old man was holding an ancient gourd ladle in his hand, pouring hot water on the old woman's head one ladle at a time. Everyone could even hear the old lady scolding from afar. You got water all over my shoes. Can you go slower? You don't take the annual ceremony seriously, the old man complained in her low voice. The couple seemed to be talking. He Qing was the first to discover the scene and was quite curious about it. Zhang Zuli and Han Wenwen also saw it. Han Wenwen smiled and said, what a warm scene. Little He Qing's eyes flickered, but she didn't say anything. When Lin Zhengren looked outside the hotel, he also noticed He Qing's little abnormality. Back to the hotel room, this was the last night for the four of them. They would drive back to Zither City tomorrow morning. Everyone simply packed up. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Lin Zhengren sat at the head of the bed in his pajamas and read a book. The door of the room suddenly opened. The three little ones walked in. Little He Qing said, Lin Zhengren, we have packed up everything. Zhang Zuli would not lie. She would do this every time she implemented a plan. Is there anything else in your room that you haven't packed up? Can we help you? Han Wenwen smiled without saying a word, and her eyes proved everything. Lin Zhengren understood what the three of them meant. Do you still want to sleep together? The three girls were speechless and nodded shyly. Lin Zhengren patted the bed. Come up, let's sleep together tonight. The three little ones immediately grinned and went to bed together. Chapter 277 White-haired girl. Lin Zhengren opened the quilt, and He Qing and Zhang Zuli consciously got into the quilt and sat on both sides. One of them held Lin Zhengren's arm. Han Wenwen leaned her back in Lin Zhengren's arms. After Lin Zhengren looked at them, he curiously asked, are you three sleepy now? The three girls shook their heads silently. Lin Zhengren hummed, yes, it's too early now, then I will continue reading. If you three are sleepy, tell me and we will go to sleep. If you are not sleepy, just lie on me for a while. The three nodded like chickens pecking at rice. Then on the double bed in the bedroom, Lin Zhengren was sitting in the middle, holding the little fox in his arms and flipping through the book. Little He Qing and Zhang Zuli leaned on his shoulders and looked at the book. 8 eyes looked at the book that only one person could understand, and the scene was quite interesting. Han Wenwen, what is this book about? I haven't understood it after reading it for a long time. Little He Qing leaned on Lin Zhengren's shoulder and shook her head slightly. It seems to be about natural disasters? But it's really hard to understand. Zhang Zuli blinked a few times, accustomed to it. Only Zhengren can understand this kind of thing, right? There are many uncommon characters, and the font is dense. When I saw this kind of book in the bookstore before, I was curious about what kind of god would buy this kind of book. Now I understand. She paused. All Zhengren is buying it. Lin Zhengren's mouth curled up, thinking that since the system said that he could call the wind and rain in the later stage some time ago, Lin Zhengren really wanted to know what situation he could control in the future, and the various degrees of impact on the world, so he bought it to read. Don't force yourself to read it if you don't understand it, but you three smell so good after taking a bath, otherwise I won't read the book, and hold you to sleep. The three girls blushed and said nothing immediately, each with their own shyness. Lin Zhengren put down the book. It's decided, don't read it and go to bed directly. Besides, do you have to wear pajamas at night? Sleeping with clothes on is not good for your health. This time, the three girls said it together. Of course we have to wear them. Lin Zhengren glanced at the shy three girls and deliberately teased them. The next morning, the three girls worked together to move all kinds of things into the car. Xiao Heqing still sat in the passenger seat and fastened her seat belt, while Zhang Zuli and Han Wenwen were in the back seat. Lin Zhengren asked, Have you taken all the things? Yes, they responded in unison. Go home. The car quickly set off from the parking area to Zither City. At the same time, in an unknown barber shop in Zither City, a beautiful girl with long hair sitting on the barber chair. The barber took the dyed hair and said, "Beautiful girl, you look old and you are a new college student this year. What kind of hair do you want to dye?" The girl took the dyed hair. "I wonder what color he would like?" Seeing that the girl was hesitant, the hairdresser recommended a few styles. "I recommend these, especially this yellow color, which is very popular recently. It looks very beautiful on young girls. And you are a beauty with a beautiful face shape. You can try it." The girl thought about it and felt that yellow was not suitable for her. There was a girl next to her who was more suitable than her. After thinking about it, she unexpectedly pointed to a white color. "This one, silver white." The hairdresser blinked a few times, examined the girl's face and face shape, and smiled. "It's also okay. Although silver white long hair is very attractive, I don't recommend it for ordinary girls, but you are really beautiful. You can try it. Anyway, you can always adjust it back if you don't like it." The girl didn't show any expression. "Then try this one." After several hours of perming and dyeing, the girl sat in front of the mirror again. Looking at the new self in the mirror, she was a little surprised. The hairdresser and other customers in the store also looked at it, because customers with silver white long hair are eye-catching. Most people can't handle this color, so most people are curious about the result. But after dyeing her hair, this young girl not only did not feel uncomfortable, but her appearance unexpectedly improved a lot tonight. The people around her exclaimed in surprise. "What a beautiful girl. I have seen someone dye her hair silver white before, but it is not as good looking as this girl." It turns out that the hairstyle depends on the face shape. "It is really beautiful. A bit of mixed race feeling. It is really beautiful." The hairdresser was also surprised and said, "Beauty, this hair color is unexpectedly suitable for you. What do you think? After dyeing your hair, it feels like a different person." The girl rarely smiled. "Not bad, I am quite satisfied." After paying, the girl walked out of the barber shop under the gaze of everyone. She stood on the street and took a deep breath. The breeze blew her long silver white hair gently. She took out a photo of a boy from her arms. The corners of the girl's mouth curled up, and her face was slightly flushed like a sickly girl. "We'll see each other again soon, classmate Lin Sehengren. I'm so happy to see you and talk to you every day in college. I just hope school starts soon." Under the surprised gazes of countless passers-by on the street, she slowly left into the distance. Just after the girl left the barber shop street, the SUV driven by Lin Sehengren just happened to drive over from a distance. Han Wenwen in the car asked He Qing, "Xiao Qing, can you still get a car home at this time?" Xiao He Qing replied, "Yes, it's still early, and there are still cars." "That's good." After driving for a while, they finally arrived at the gate of Han Wenwen's residential area. Lin Sehengren helped her take down the luggage, and the little fox stared at Lin Sehengren while pulling the suitcase. "Brother Sehengren, then I'll go upstairs." "Well, go home and have a good rest. Call me if you have anything." Han Wenwen nodded. "The college entrance examination results should be out soon in the next 2 days. I'll tell Brother Sehengren as soon as they come out." "Okay." After saying that, Han Wenwen stood on tiptoe and kissed Lin Sehengren's cheek under the gaze of Zhang Zuli and He Qing. The two girls were surprised, wondering why Wenwen kissed Lin Sehengren so frequently and even kissed him goodbye. The little fox said delicately, "Brother Sehengren, I'm going upstairs. See you tomorrow." "Tomorrow is not possible. I have to go to the company for a few days." The little fox pouted, knowing that the so-called company was actually going to see Jiang Jingshi, right? Unhappily, she said, "Then let's meet another day. I'll call you tomorrow." "The phone is okay, Xiao Qing, Lily. I'm going home." After seeing Han Wenwen off, she saw Zhang Zuli off. Lily originally just wanted to go home simply, but thinking that Han Wenwen had kissed her, she couldn't help but kiss her, so she also kissed Lin Sehengren before returning home happily. Pulling the suitcase and waving her hands, "Sehengren, Xiao Qing, see you in a few days." Finally, it was little He Qing. Lin Sehengren got in the car, and the well-behaved little He Qing was still sitting in the passenger seat. Lin Sehengren looked at He Qing. Little He Qing knew that it was still in time to take the bus, but Lin Sehengren touched her head and asked with a smile, "Are you going home by bus today?" Little He Qing bit her lip and shook her head with a red face, knowing that Lin Sehengren was doing it on purpose. "Not going back, Lin Sehengren, not going to tell them," Little He Qing whispered. Just accompany me to celebrate. Lin Sehengren knew that tomorrow was her birthday. Then I will go with you to buy a cake and celebrate your birthday with you at 12 o'clock tonight. Okay. Drove to the city. Han Wenwen and Zhang Zuli, who had already returned home, were jealous at the same time. As good sisters, how could they not know that tomorrow was He Qing's birthday, but her 18th birthday? Although the three girls didn't say anything, they all agreed that everyone would celebrate with Lin Sehengren, so they would not disturb this night. Chapter 278 Cake. Driving to the city, he returned the SUV to the rental company first. The 2-day trip made Lin Sehengren feel that it was still useful to buy a car for college. Although he could not use it himself, he could take the kids out to play. After returning the car, Lin Sehengren took Xiao Heking's hand and found a high-end cake shop. Xiao Heking, who was considerate, knew that cakes were sometimes difficult to buy now, and it was almost evening. He was the first to speak. Lin Sehengren, you can just buy a cake as a token of appreciation, even a small cake will do. Lin Sehengren looked ahead, so casual. Little He Qing hummed, and stole a glance at the clasped hands. Little He Qing felt a warm feeling. Well, it's enough to have you accompany me tonight. Cakes are just a formality, not important. Lin Sehengren glanced at Little He Qing. Really? But I have already made a reservation. Being pulled into the cake shop, someone immediately came to greet. Guest, are you here to pick up the cake or to see the cake? To pick up the cake. My last name is Lin. I called you 3 days ago, the clerk responded quickly. Mr. Lin, right. Your cake has been made for you today, I'll go get it for you. Wait a moment. Little He Qing didn't expect Lin Sehengren to have made a reservation early, and observed the environment in the store. After a while, the clerk handed a large cake to Lin Sehengren. Although he couldn't see what the cake looked like, He Qing knew that it was expensive just from the pink packaging of the cake and the material of the gift rope. Lin Sehengren thanked him and walked out of the cake shop. After leaving the shop, Xiao Heking dared to ask secretly, how much is this cake? Is it a few hundred yuan, 3 or 4,000 yuan? How much? 3 or 4,000 yuan. She was surprised. It's so expensive. What's expensive? You only have this birthday once a year, and this year is the significant 18th birthday, and we are not without money. We can't just keep the money and not spend it. Xiao Heking felt that it made sense, but she looked so distressed. She was not used to Lin Sehengren's identity as a boss, and she just felt that it was really a lot for students to spend so much money. That's what I said, but I always feel that it's a waste to spend this money on me. She said the last sentence in a low voice, but it was really from the heart. Why not buy yourself a nice piece of clothing? Lin Sehengren smiled and sighed. Wenwen was really right. He Qing's thrifty housekeeping is still very suitable for managing the shopping arrangements at home in the future. It's exaggerated. We can buy clothes and cakes. It's not like I didn't show you how much money we have. I saw it, but she still felt distressed. Lin Sehengren and Xiao Heking checked into a hotel in the city. The couple's double bed looked clean, tidy and romantic, and the curtains and sheets were even red. Lin Sehengren originally wanted to take Xiao Heking out for a meal, but Xiao Heking was not happy about it. She said that she had been playing in Linchin for a few days, and she didn't want to go back to the city tonight to queue for food, so it would be good to order takeout in the hotel. Lin Sehengren thought so too, so he chose 2 better takeout dinners. Crab roe noodles were delivered. The two were on the sofa in the hotel. Xiao Heking opened the takeout box and saw the golden and delicious crab meat and exclaimed, "It looks so fragrant." "There are really a lot of crab roe," Lin Sehengren said. "I've ordered from this restaurant before, and the taste is still good." "You try it?" "Well, I'll try it." Xiao Heking opened the disposable chopsticks, but didn't start eating but looked at Lin Sehengren. The head of the family eats first. Lin Sehengren tasted it first as usual, and Xiao Heking smiled and picked up a bite from her bowl and tasted it carefully. The noodles wrapped with crab roe were extremely delicious in the mouth. Pink bubbles seemed to appear around the foodie He Qing. "It's delicious. I haven't eaten this before." Lin Sehengren was also eating noodles. Seeing that she had a great appetite, he put the extra crab roe meat in the middle. "If it's not enough, add more. We can order more anytime in the future if you think it's delicious." Little He Qing smiled embarrassedly. "I can't eat so much." "Lin Sehengren, you eat more. It's really delicious." The two slurped the delicious noodles. After dinner, Little He Qing and Lin Sehengren sat on the sofa to rest. She covered her slightly bulging belly and was very satisfied. "I'm so full." Her head had begun to lean on Lin Sehengren's shoulder habitually. The two looked at each other. and little He Qing smiled shyly at him. Go to the bed. Lin Zhengren leaned against the head of the bed. Little He Qing rode on Lin Zhengren's legs. The two people's lips gradually approached and kissed each other. Lin Zhengren knew that it was not appropriate to exercise immediately after a meal, and he had to rest for at least half an hour. He kissed for a while and then ended, "Are you going back tomorrow or the day after tomorrow?" After the simple kiss, Xiao Heking's cheeks were red, and she lowered her head slightly. "I don't know, I don't really want to go home, I want to live with you." She stared at Lin Zhengren. "Why do you and I always have to separate, on and off? It's just 10 days of separation. Didn't you see each other when you registered for college?" "No, it's a lot of days. Here I think it's okay not to see you for one day. Anyway, I can see you anytime I want, but every time I go back to my hometown, I miss you very much, but I can't see you, and phone calls are useless. I can't even sleep at night because I miss you so much." After a few days of excitement, Xiao Heking disliked the feeling of separation even more. Even if it was just a short separation, it would make her feel very uncomfortable. Little He Qing's jade-like little hands helped Lin Zhengren to straighten the collar of his short-sleeved shirt. It was more like playing than straightening it up. Her little hands moved back and forth on his collar. "Anyway, I don't really want to go back. In that case, I'll stay with you for another day tomorrow and go home the day after tomorrow. Auntie should have called you a few times recently, right?" "Well, Mom called a few days ago. It's not that I don't miss Mom and Grandma, but I miss you more." Lin Zhengren laughed out loud, causing little He Qing to laugh embarrassedly. "Am I a little bit rebellious? How can you still have a rebellious period at your age? By the way, how is your grandma's health these 2 years?" "Pretty well. Since my mom and I went back when I was a child, my mom said that grandma's energy and spirit have recovered a lot, but, little He Qing hugged Lin Zhengren, feeling the tenderness on him. "It's nothing. It's just that grandma is old and has many minor ailments that can't be cured." Lin Zhengren thought that he could actually help by refining an elixir. "I'll get you 2 pills tomorrow and you can take them back, one for Aunt and one for Grandma. They will strengthen your body after you take them." Little He Qing didn't quite understand. "Medicine? Those kind of health products? No, I'll make it for you myself. I know medicine. Anyway, you just have to listen to me after I fix it for you tomorrow." Little He Qing was very surprised. "Then you are really amazing, you know everything." "Okay, I get it." After that, the two of them smiled, and little He Qing's face suddenly blushed. "Lin Zhengren, I want to sleep with you tonight. I want to be bullied by you. Can you bully me more tonight?" Chapter 279 Birthday Wish. Lin Zhengren stared at Xiao Heking's shy look and touched her soft face with his hand. "I just had a full meal. I have to wait for a while to digest it." Her face turned redder, because this meant that they could do the kind of thing tonight. "Great, then I'll show you something good before that." She touched her pocket and took out another roll of stockings from it. Lin Zhengren didn't expect that there was another roll. "You brought 2 rolls before the trip." Xiao Heking unpacked the roll of stockings without saying a word, and after unfolding it, she covered her face with shame to show Lin Zhengren. "These 2 are different. The one that fell on the ground before is pantyhose, and this one is sexy stockings. I bought 2 kinds of stockings online." Lin Zhengren looked at the white silk style, which was indeed not a normal stocking style. "There is a difference in structure." He laughed out loud. "You really have grown up." Xiao Heking was ashamed and dared to look at Lin Zhengren through the stockings. Lin Zhengren ordered, "Since you brought it, don't be shy. Put it on and show me." He Qing pursed her lips. "Can I go to the bathroom to change? I'm a little embarrassed because it will be almost the same as not wearing anything." "Okay, thank you, I'll go change." She got out of bed and ran to the bathroom and closed the door. After a while, she saw He Qing tiptoeing out of the bathroom in white stockings. But she pulled the white shirt on her upper body with both hands, trying to cover the thigh part of the stockings. Change. Lin Zhengren, He Qing in white stockings really looked like a natural little cake, with her feet, calves and thighs all in one go, giving people a sweet taste. Lin Zhengren admired it for a while. He Qing in the moonlight was like a work of art, especially the blushing face, which made people even more excited. He stretched out his hand. "Come." He Qing took a few steps forward and held Lin Zhengren's hand. He pulled her down to the bed. "Do you still want to sleep tonight?" he asked. Xiao Heking was shocked and hesitated. "I don't really want to sleep, but can your body bear it if you stay up all night? I read in a book that boys seem to have limits, and your health is the most important." That's the boy in the novel, not me." Then Lin Sehengren covered him with a quilt. Xiao Heqing exclaimed, and then there was only the sound of sweet kissing in the room. Several hours of intimacy. Different from the first time when she was awkward and worried about it. This time, Xiao Heqing was no longer afraid. She even missed him. She was very natural to be intimate with Lin Sehengren. She was able to fully enjoy this wonderful love for a long time. At 11 o'clock in the evening, Xiao Heqing hugged Lin Sehengren's neck in the quilt and wanted to continue kissing him. But Lin Sehengren grabbed her hand. "Okay, it's almost 12 o'clock, and I still have to celebrate your birthday later." Xiao Heqing's eyes were full of romantic soft light, and she spoke without thinking. "Why don't we celebrate your birthday? Just continue." "What?" he asked with a smile. After Xiao Heqing finished speaking, she realized what she had said. Her face flushed red, and she quickly covered her face with her hands to refuse to admit that she had just said it. "Lin Sehengren, I didn't say anything, and you didn't hear anything." Lin Sehengren felt that this girl was more addicted than last time. "I'll accompany you to finish eating the cake and make a wish before continuing." Xiao Heqing, who was covering her face, had a small gap between her fingers, and secretly looked at Lin Sehengren. "Really? That's fine, let's eat some cake and rest for a while before continuing." "Just don't stop," he smiled and nodded. After changing into simple pajamas, Lin Sehengren simply didn't get out of bed. Instead, he learned what a fox often did before, and spread a blanket on the quilt. Then put the cake on it, so that eating the cake can prevent the bed from getting dirty. After being pampered, Xiao Heqing's head was a little dazed and intoxicated, and she helped him to tidy up the blanket on the bed in front of Lin Sehengren's arms. Seeing that she was not sleepy at all, Lin Sehengren said, "You seem to be more used to it this time than last time." He Qing blushed and whispered, "A little bit. I don't know what's going on. Actually, since we did that thing in the hotel last time, I feel so relaxed. Especially my neck was not feeling well before, but now it doesn't feel any pain at all." "Your neck is not feeling well?" "Oh, I was reading novels in bed for a long time one night, and I got a little stiff neck, but it didn't have much effect. But after we did that thing, the stiff neck feeling was gone." It's very strange. Seeing that her forehead was slightly sweaty, Lin Sehengren used his hand to push the hair off her forehead and checked the time. There were still 10 minutes to 12 o'clock. "Have you thought about what wish you want to make later?" Little He Qing wanted to say that she had an idea, but Lin Sehengren stopped her in advance. "Don't make the same wish as when you saw the shooting star, otherwise it will be wasted." This made little He Qing at a loss for ideas, because all her wishes since she was a child were "I hope to be with Lin Sehengren forever," without exception, all the same. But now, she asked in a low voice, "It's okay to be the same, does it matter?" Lin Sehengren was surprised. "Are you really going to make the same wish?" He also reacted, because birthday wishes cannot be spoken out loud. Lin Sehengren didn't care, and now he realized. "He Qing, don't tell you that all your wishes from childhood to adulthood are the same wish." Little He Qing nodded obediently. "It's all the same." "Really? You mean you used the same wish for the past 18 years? Well, all my wishes are to be with you forever. As long as I have something to do with in making wishes, it's always this one." Lin Sehengren's eyes were moved, looking at this silly girl who really would never change in her life. He couldn't help but give her a slap on the head. Little He Qing's head hurt from being hit. She covered her head and said, "Ugh. It hurts, but you haven't hit me for a long time. I miss you so much." Lin Sehengren was speechless. "I really admire you. Who makes the same wish from childhood to adulthood?" "No way." Little He Qing rubbed her head. "But this is the wish I want most. Since the first time you protected me when I was a child, I hope to follow you forever. This is what I want most. I mean, there is no need to make a wish for this matter. Isn't it a waste of wishes?" She rarely refuted Lin Sehengren, but this time she muttered, "I don't think this is a waste of wishes. I just want to be with you." Lin Sehengren sighed. He rubbed her forehead with his hand, and didn't dwell on such things. "Forget it, you can make whatever wish you want. But I made the wish on the shooting star last time. It's been so short. If I make the same wish again, it might conflict with the original. Don't you have any other wishes? Will it conflict with the original?" She felt that it wouldn't work. This wish couldn't conflict with the original. "Then I'd like to make a different one." He Qing thought for a moment, recalling the travels of the past few days, and unexpectedly thought of the scene of the old man and the old woman washing their hair yesterday. "I got it. I want you to wash my hair." "Okay, wash my hair." "Yes, wash my hair." She found her phone and showed something to Lin Sehengren. Chapter 280 Rabbit Cake. Little He Qing found a post about old customs that she had collected and showed it to Lin Zhengren. After Lin Zhengren scrolled through the content, he knew what she was thinking. The post said that there was a custom in the Linshan area that was about to die out. That is, if a girl had her beloved wash her hair and face on her birthday every year, it would make the relationship between the two people last long, and even if she prayed for a child, it would be very beneficial for having a child. It is said that this was passed down from the war years hundreds of years ago. Washing hair and face symbolizes that the girl is clean and tidy for the person she likes, and the two are always consistent. No wonder the grandpa and grandma washed their hair under the tree that night, so this is what happened. Lin Zhengren felt that this custom was quite common all over the country, and basically every place would have a ritual about marriage. So your wish this year is that I wash your hair and face? He Qing nodded heavily. Lin Zhengren did not agree immediately, but thought about it, which made little He Qing confused. Until he said, the main person is already lying in bed. It feels weird to wash your hair and face alone. How about I give you a bath directly? After being stunned for a while, little He Qing's face flushed. Ah, bath? Well, it just so happens that you are sweating a little. He touched the hair on He Qing's forehead with his hand, and little He Qing's heart beat a few times. It will be more convenient to take a bath directly later. Do you mean to take a bath together? She asked. Well, of course, the bathroom scenes that He Qing often saw in books appeared in her mind. She knew what taking a bath meant. The little head moved expectantly. That's fine, then let's take a bath together later. It was 12 o'clock, and Lin Zhengren opened the gorgeous packaging of the cake. Little He Qing watched in her arms. She didn't dare to interfere in the unpacking of the cake. It would be easy to destroy the shape of the cake if two people unpacked it. Lin Zhengren, what type of cake did you buy? Is it the classic cream or fruit one? Neither. I asked the cake shop to make an interesting birthday cake in your image, my image. He took off the lid of the cake, and the scene in front of him made Xiao Heqing's eyes light up, and her mouth opened slightly in surprise and joy. On the flat cake base, there was oil made of chocolate and biscuit crumbs, and more than a dozen exquisite snow-white rabbits made of cream gathered on it vividly. There were also some grass and flowers around, which looked like a grassland scene. Those little rabbits gathered in the open space, some looked up, some were intimate with each other, and each action was different. In Xiao Heqing's shocked eyes, Lin Zhengren took out a colorful candle in the shape of 18 years old from the box he gave him and inserted it in the middle of the rabbit space. With this candle, the whole cake seemed to have a center. It was as if many little rabbits gathered together to celebrate someone's 18th birthday. Lin Zhengren asked, how is it? He Qing was like a reincarnated rabbit spirit, with her invisible rabbit ears erected, and her little head nodded vigorously like a chicken pecking at rice. It looks good. I like it so much. Rabbit cake. I have never seen such a cake. Is it specially designed? Lin Zhengren hummed. This cake shop is very good at this kind of customization, otherwise it wouldn't be sold at such a high price. So a few days ago I drew a picture of a rabbit for the shop and asked them to simulate it for me one-to-one. Looking at the cute cake that looked like a three-dimensional portrait, it turns out that the shop is still very skilled, and it's very cute. Little He Qing was moved to tears when she heard that it was actually drawn by Lin Zhengren himself. Kissing Lin Zhengren on the cheek, thank you for your trouble, Lin Zhengren. Thank you. Lin Zhengren looked at her cute and silly appearance and rubbed her head. What's so touching about this? I just drew a picture the whole time, and didn't do anything else. Little He Qing looked at him and was about to cry. How can I not be touched? No one has ever given me something like this on my birthday, Lin Zhengren complained, but, you seem to say this every year, right? Even when I pretended to give you rotten leaves to tease you one year, you said so. Little He Qing was even more moved, but no one has ever given me leaves. I like whatever you give me. I know that even if you give me leaves, you must have specially selected them from many, many trees. Of course I will be touched, Lin Zhengren sighed. Okay, let's not talk about this. Let's blow out the candles and eat the cake. Yeah, little He Qing put her hands together in front of her, crossed her fingers, and blew out the candles with force. The voice was sweet. The wish is to take a bath together. Then she turned around and asked Lin Zhengren, can I eat it? I want to taste the bunny cake. Eat it. Lin Zhengren cut a piece for her, and He Qing picked up a little white rabbit made of cream with her own plastic knife. The more she looked at it, the cuter it seemed. She fed it to Lin Zhengren. You eat first. Lin Zhengren ate it habitually. He would not eat it without He Qing. After seeing him taste it, He Qing started to taste it. The wonderful cream taste made her very happy. It's delicious. Happy birthday, He Qing. He Qing was stunned while chewing the cake. She stared at Lin Sehengren with trembling eyes and smiled. The cake was not small. Although she had already eaten dinner, He Qing had a strong physique due to years of exercise. In addition, she was a foodie and had just experienced several hours of exercise. Therefore, with the efforts of the two, they finished nearly half of the cake in a short time. After eating the last piece in her hand, He Qing saw that there was cake on her fingers. Put the fingers in her mouth. Clean the cake on her hands. While biting her finger, little He Qing had another yellow thought in her little head. Her rosy lips trembled. She looked at Lin Sehengren, who was already full. Lin Sehengren, little He Qing, who was biting her finger, slowly took her finger away, lowered her head and said shyly, "Well, I read in a book that there are many ways for men and women to be intimate." She pursed her lips. "I want to try them all. Can you understand what I mean?" He Qing bent her finger and put it on her lips, looking at him timidly, afraid that he would not be happy. "That's what I use. Anyway, I will try my best to serve you." Lin Sehengren smiled lightly, causing the girl to blush and feel embarrassed. The two got off the bed, and Lin Sehengren always held little He Qing's hand. "Then try it when you take a bath," little He Qing responded. The two held hands and went into the bathroom one after the other. "Lock the door." Since it has been decided tonight, Lin Sehengren naturally really gave little He Qing a sleepless night. The two of them were intimate until about 7 in the morning before they decided to go to bed. The sun was already high, but Xiao He Qing was hugging Lin Sehengren in the bed, her face flushed as she fell asleep. "The cake you gave me is so delicious. The cake tastes the same as the cake." After saying that, she smiled in her dream. "I really like you. I will also prepare well for your birthday this year." Lin Sehengren hugged this silly girl, feeling her breath hitting his chest. Go to sleep. Chapter 281 Return Home. On the morning of her birthday, she slept. At about 11 o'clock, her mother called unexpectedly and asked her when she could come back. At that time, she was still sleeping soundly in Lin Sehengren's arms. After being woken up by the ringing of the phone and hearing her mother's question, she suddenly became more sober and said, "I will go back tomorrow." Lin Sehengren also woke up, and the two looked at each other and smiled. "Who knew that Auntie would say, 'Didn't you say you would come back today?' Mom thought you were coming back today." Little He Qing twirled her hair with a finger, feeling guilty. "That's what I thought at first, but there were some special circumstances." "Special circumstances? What special circumstances?" "Qing, Mom heard from your voice that you haven't gotten up yet." "What time is it?" Auntie realized something, and her voice became more serious. "Qing, where are you now? Are you at your brother Ranran's house? Did you stay overnight at his house?" Little He Qing blushed nervously, and even waved her hands. No, I'm sleeping in the hotel by myself. I just came back from traveling with Lin Sehengren, and I've been catching up on sleep because I'm tired. I'm not staying at his house." Really? How could I lie to your mother?" "I won't lie." After she finished speaking, she saw Lin Sehengren's meaningful eyes and blushed shyly. Auntie did not ask any more questions. Although she might not have done that kind of thing, her daughter had indeed grown up and had someone in her heart. She had liked Lin Sehengren for a long time. "Mom believes you. If you have nothing to do today, why don't you come back? Today is your birthday, and I bought you a cake. Also, your grandma hurt her waist yesterday, and I hope you can come back and help take care of her for 2 days." When little He Qing heard that her grandma was injured, she became anxious. "Grandma is injured? What happened? Is it serious?" "It's nothing serious, but she needs help to go to the bathroom and so on, and Mom has to go to work, so someone has to look after Grandma during the day these few days." Little He Qing looked at Lin Sehengren reluctantly. "Well, then, okay, then I'll get up and pack up and take the bus in the afternoon." "Well, we should be there in the evening, right?" "Yes, but it may be very late." "It's okay, Mom will pick you up at the station then." "Okay, thank you, Mom, then I'll hang up and pack my things." After the call was hung up, the little He Qing with her hair loose had a worried and reluctant look on her face. She looked at Lin Sehengren's face and said aggrievedly, "Lin Sehengren, my grandma is injured. Although I don't want to leave, I have to go back to see her." "Well, then get up and pack up. I'll take you to the station." After that, tears suddenly appeared in the eyes of little He Qing, and she pursed her lips and hugged Lin Sehengren tightly. "I don't want to be separated from you." Lin Sehengren stroked the girl's head. "Anyway, We will see each other again after school starts. If you really missed me, call me on video, little He Qing sniffed. Okay. Then you should be less involved in other people during this period. Lin Zhengren chuckled. I know, woo woo, I don't want to leave. Although she was not very happy, little He Qing still changed her clothes and put on a little skirt and short sleeves she wore when she came. She sat on the edge of the bed, biting the rubber band in her mouth to tie her thick long hair into a ponytail. After putting on her shoes, she kept turning her head and staring at Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren was used to her aggrieved expression. Whenever she encountered something that was very unpleasant but had to be done, she would always be like this. Okay, go home and be happy, but I was planning to get you some medicine in the afternoon, so you can take the bus back first, and I'll mail the things to you. Xiao Heqing nodded aggrievedly and leaned on Lin Zhengren's shoulder. Pulling the suitcase to the Xiao Heqing station, Xiao Heqing waved her hands. Then I'm leaving. I'll miss you. Yeah, Lin Zhengren, I'm really leaving. See you at the beginning of the university. Yeah, I really Lin Zhengren hugged her and patted her back. Okay, let's go. Call me anytime if you have anything. Sitting on the high-speed train to go home, Lin Zhengren watched the high-speed train start to travel far away, while Xiao Heqing in the car leaned on the window and looked at Lin Zhengren, who was watching her leave. She was still waving at him in the car. After watching the high-speed train leave, Lin Zhengren turned around and left the high-speed train station. As a result, the phone rang soon. It was Xiao Heqing calling. Lin Zhengren picked up the phone. What? Did you forget something? No. I just missed you and wanted to hear your voice. It's been less than a minute since we separated. After a few simple words and hanging up the phone, Lin Zhengren took the bus home. In the car, little He Qing was staring blankly out the window of the high-speed rail. It was self-evident what she was thinking. It was almost 12 o'clock in the evening. At the bus station in the south, Auntie was waiting for her daughter. Little He Qing got off the bus with her suitcase, and ran over to her mother after seeing her. Mom, I'm back. Auntie saw her happy and unhappy expression. Why, are you unhappy to see your mother? Little He Qing blinked. No. I'm happy. She forced a grin. Hey, Mom, let's go home and see Grandma. The mother and daughter drove home. On the way, Auntie asked her daughter how she had fun on this trip. Little He Qing opened her mouth and told her mother what she had played and how the scenery on the mountain was. Little He Qing kept talking, and Auntie drove the car and listened to her daughter's story. In fact, the purpose of her asking this question was not to be curious about what her daughter was really playing, but to be curious whether her daughter was with Lin Zhengren every time she went out. She was happy, and the fact was indeed the same as Auntie thought. Her daughter's joy could not even be described by words and actions. The past of failed marriage made Auntie really not care about her daughter and Lin Zhengren's relationship at first. At that time, she really didn't think that her daughter would like a boy for so many years, but more than 10 years later, Auntie gradually believed that there is such a thing as love. The degree of her daughter's infatuation is already visible to the naked eye. I went back home to visit my grandmother and confirmed that my grandmother was fine, but it is difficult for the elderly to recover from injuries. Until the next day, little He Qing received a courier from Lin Zhengren at noon. It was 2 black pills, one large and one small. There was no product packaging. Just wrapped in 2 pieces of tin foil. 3 no products. But there was a handwritten letter from Lin Zhengren. The bigger one is for Grandma, and the smaller one is for Aunt. I specially prepared it according to age, so don't take the wrong one. There was also a note at the end. It's okay if you take the wrong one. At most, the effect won't be so effective, but it is definitely more useful than the medicine on the market. After receiving the package, little He Qing thought to herself, is Lin Zhengren really good at making medicine? And he made it into the shape of marshmallows. Lin Zhengren is amazing. But am I so stupid to give the wrong medicine to Mom and Grandma? She took a photo of the package, picked up her phone and sent it to Lin Zhengren. Got it. I'll give it to Grandma and Mom when I get home. Chapter 282, Medical Miracle Pill. Seeing Lin Zhengren replied, okay. Little He Qing was overjoyed. She put the express delivery in her pocket and chatted with Lin Zhengren with her hands. Are you busy these 2 days, Lin Zhengren? He Qing is a top-notch beauty in both the north and the south, especially after she grew up in junior high school. When she was a child, there were still people who bullied little He Qing, but since junior high school, there have basically been only boys who have a crush on her or flirt with her. And the number is not less than imagined. When she walks on the street, she will be the focus of many people. For example, when she goes out like today, someone will occasionally ask for little He Qing's contact information. Beauty, you are so beautiful, can you leave your mobile phone number? Little He Qing was so immersed in the conversation with Lin Suhengren that she walked past him and brushed past him. Then she turned around and pointed at herself. Are you talking to me? Sorry, I didn't hear you. The passerby nodded awkwardly. I mean, you are very beautiful. Can you leave me your phone number, beautiful girl? Little He Qing blinked, although her tone was still sweet, but she was not shy and bashful when talking to Lin Suhengren. I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. I'm married. You can ask other girls for their phone numbers. I wish you happiness. Ah. Married? How old are you? It's true, I'm chatting with my husband now. After saying this seriously, she continued to chat with Lin Suhengren on her phone and left without explaining too much to the other party. Little He Qing, who was staring at the screen, blushed again on her face. In her heart, she had already assumed that she was a wife after having sex. She was now Lin Suhengren's wife, and saying that she was married was not a lie. She returned home with the express delivery sent by Lin Suhengren. Little He Qing now lives in Pingfang village, but this place is very close to the town, so it is very convenient to travel. Grandma, I'm back, pushing open the door and entering the house. I only heard Grandma sitting on the bed in the inner room responding, He Qing is back. Well, Grandma, how do you feel today? Little He Qing came in and sat next to Grandma. Seeing that the water in her cup was empty, she refilled it. Grandma said thank you to Little He Qing. You're welcome, Grandma. What did you do when you went out? Little He Qing, I went to pick up a courier. She blushed and whispered, my boyfriend mailed it to me. Oh, that Lin Suhengren? Yeah, I heard that you and Lin Suhengren went on the trip to the north this time. Did you have a good time? Little He Qing took out the 2 wrapped pills from her pocket. Yes, I had a lot of fun. My boyfriend is very nice to me. Although she still remembered the big and small, she checked Lin Suhengren's handwritten letter again to make sure the big pill was for Grandma just in case. So he kept the handwritten letter carefully, took out a large pill and handed it to Grandma. Grandma, this is what Lin Suhengren made for you. He is a doctor. He made it for you after knowing that you injured your waist. You can try it and see if it works. Grandma took the pill with her old and wrinkled hands, half believing and half doubting. Pills? Did he buy it? He said he made it. I didn't buy it. He Qing's boyfriend also makes his own medicine? He is not the same age as you. Yes, but he is very good at it. He can do everything. Oh. When we were traveling this time, he told me that he would come to our house if he had the chance. Then I will bring him to see Grandma. Grandma, you should take it quickly. Maybe your waist will not hurt so much after taking the medicine. How can there be such a magical medicine? Grandma's waist pain is an old injury. But since it is a kind gesture from He Qing's boyfriend, Grandma will try it. Can I just take it directly? Let me see what he wrote to me. I checked the back of the note again for instructions on how to take it, and reminded Grandma. Well, he said to just take it directly. Grandma He Qing nodded and put it in her mouth without thinking too much. As a result, the pill filled with a little spiritual energy of heaven and earth turned into a stream of medicine and went down her throat as soon as it was put into her mouth, just like when she treated Zheng Jingxi. Grandma was even stunned for a moment and praised, what a magical medicine, it went into my stomach in an instant. It's almost like the Iron Fan goddess eating Sun Wukong. Little He Qing laughed. Grandma, you still like to use this metaphor so much? Grandma also smiled. Grandma is tired too. I have to lie down and rest for a while. You go play, okay? He helped Grandma lie back on the bed. Grandma, you have a good rest. I'm going back to my room. Although it was the medicine that Lin Suhengren sent specially, He Qing and Grandma did not think much about it. They both thought that this medicine was at best a tonic, the kind that is better than nothing. But sometimes the facts are really surprising. As the pill entered the body, the thin spiritual energy in the medicine traveled all over the body. Grandma frowned slightly and rubbed her stomach. Why do I feel so warm and comfortable? Auntie drove home from get off work in the afternoon. Thinking about her mother's back injury, she knew that her mother's back injury had not been there for a day or two. It was a sequelae left over from her youth, and she often relapsed because of a small thing when she was old. Once the back injury recurred this time, it was unknown how long it would take to heal, and it was even possible that it would take a month or two. Auntie parked the car at the door of her house, but before she entered the house, she suddenly heard a rubbing sound in the small vegetable garden in the yard. She thought it was her daughter, He Qing. What are you doing in the yard? The moment she pushed the door open, Aunt He's eyes widened and her mouth opened. Her eyes were dull, stunned, and scared. Because she saw that in the vegetable garden, her mother, who had injured her back and needed someone to help her even to go to the bathroom, was actually holding a hoe and rubbing the ground with her daughter in the small vegetable yard. Grandma swung the hoe to turn over the soil on the ground, with great momentum, health and strength. Even little He Qing was so surprised that she was speechless. Frightened, Auntie hurried over and lost her usual seriousness. "Oh my dear mother. What are you doing? Stop it." When the grandmother saw her daughter's answer, she rarely showed a free smile. "Are you back from get off work?" "No, Mom." "What are you doing? Why did you clean up this small vegetable garden? Isn't your waist unable to move?" Grandma stood up and held her waist. "What are you afraid of? I feel very comfortable now. Except for not exercising for a long time. It is easy to get tired, but my waist doesn't hurt at all." She simply twisted her waist. "Look. It feels so good." Auntie didn't understand. What was going on? Was she dreaming? Seeing her daughter's surprised look, Grandma smiled and said, "I knew you were surprised too. Qing was also scared just now, asking what happened to me. It was all because of the medicine. The medicine Qing's boyfriend gave me is really magical. I fell asleep right after taking it, and my waist and legs no longer hurt. All my old ailments disappeared in an instant." Auntie confirmed that she was dreaming. Little He Qing was also surprised and smiled. "Mom, do you feel like you are dreaming?" "Actually, me too." But Grandma did get better all of a sudden, and she couldn't wait to move around. Auntie frowned and looked at her daughter and then at her mother. "What's going on? How could this happen after I wasn't home for just one day?" Chapter 283 Becoming Respected Auntie. No matter what, Auntie didn't dare to let her elderly mother continue to hoe the ground. This kind of strenuous exercise has been impossible for her mother in recent years due to her back injury. Sweeping the floor with a high broom is already hard work on weekdays, but today's sweeping is like a last gasp. Auntie was really scared. She comforted her daughter and mother to go back to the house. Grandma still felt that it was unnecessary. "I'm really fine, I just haven't moved for several years and want to move around. My body feels so good all of a sudden, I want to give it a try." Auntie supported her elderly mother with a cold sweat. "Okay, Mom, I beg you, Mom, whether you are well or not, let's go back to the house and talk. Not to mention you hoeing the ground, just standing here makes me scared. I'm really afraid you'll be hurt again." Grandma laughed. "I'm really fine, I'm fine." Okay, you're fine. Let's go back to the house and talk." Grandma couldn't persuade her daughter, so she had to be supported back to the house, but Grandma wanted to shake her daughter's hand. "Okay, then let's go back to the house, but you don't have to support me. My waist is fine now, why should I support you?" No, just let me support you, I beg you. If it really doesn't work, I'll kneel down for you." "Okay, what you said." Little He Qing stood aside and smiled as she packed up the hoe. Auntie also called out, Qing, put the hoe away and come in." Little He Qing responded and put the hoe aside. She thought that Grandma's recovery could only be due to Lin Sahengren's medicine, right? After all, the big change between this morning and now was just a pill. She blushed and her heart was moved, although she didn't know why the medicine was so powerful. But when she thought that it was Lin Sahengren who did it, it seemed normal. He is just so amazing. Back in the living room, Auntie helped her mother sit on the sofa. "Mom, go slower, be careful with your waist." Grandma smiled helplessly. "Oh, I'm really fine. You don't have to support me. I really beg you, please sit down first. I feel uneasy when you look at me like this." Little He Qing also sat on the sofa. Auntie finally breathed a sigh of relief when she saw her mother sitting down. She wiped the cold sweat from her forehead with her hand. "Oh my God, I just got back from get off work. Mom, you've been so hard on me. I'm going to wash my face first. You two just sit here and wait for me to come back." Auntie went to the bathroom and washed her face with cold water. She looked at herself in the mirror and then looked at the soil in the yard that was about to be turned over. Everything was not a dream. If it was a dream, then this dream was too real. On the sofa, Little He Qing asked her grandmother, "Grandma, do you still feel pain in your waist now?" Grandma smiled, as if she had regained control of her body. She stretched out her arms and turned her wrists. "It's really okay. I feel like I haven't felt so relaxed for decades. It's really different to have a good body." "That's great." Little He Qing was happy. Auntie returned to the living room and saw her mother stretching her arms. She breathed a sigh of relief and hurried to sit down. "Mom, how do you feel?" Grandma was tired of answering. "It's fine, it's fine. I'll stand up and show you." Slow down. Seeing her mother stand up again like she did in the yard, she simply twisted her waist to stretch her muscles. Auntie's eyes widened. She felt that it was a miracle that she could move freely from being supported by someone. According to the hospital's repeated statements, this injury was incurable and could not be cured, and it would become more serious as she got older. But this, what she saw with her own eyes, could not be questioned. Seeing her daughter standing there stupidly, the grandmother laughed. "Why are you stupid?" But then she suddenly became sad and held her daughter's hand. "My daughter, Mom's poor health these years has caused you trouble. You've been afraid to go out and so on. Now that you're better, you can be much more relaxed, and I'll be less of a burden to you." Auntie was stunned for a long time before she reacted. Looking at her mother, who was about to cry, she smiled from the bottom of her heart. "Mom, what are you talking about? I'm really happy that you're getting better. Besides, I'm too old to go out." Auntie laughed and suddenly tears welled up in her eyes. Her lips trembled and she wiped her tears with her arm. "I feel like I'm so easy to cry at my age." "Mom, are you really better? You feel like you're decades younger." She said tremblingly. "I never thought I would see you so energetic one day." The excitement was so strong that no one could understand the impact of her mother, who had always been in poor health, suddenly getting better. Little He Qing saw her mother's eyes were red, and she also took 2 pieces of toilet paper to wipe her mother's tears. Auntie took the toilet paper and looked at her mother, who was old but healthy, with tears and smiles on her face. It's like a dream. The family was emotional for a long time. Finally, they could sit down and talk about what happened. Grandma told everything that happened this afternoon. Qing brought me a pill and said it was given to me by Lin Zhengren. It seemed that he brewed it himself. Little He Qing nodded. Grandma continued, "I didn't take it seriously at first. But the medicine dissolved as soon as I put it in my mouth. It was magical. I began to feel my body getting warm when I lay on the bed, and I fell asleep unknowingly. When I opened my eyes again, I felt an indescribable relaxation in my body." Grandma seemed unable to describe the feeling. "You also know that Mom is old, and I have an old waist injury plus other minor ailments. My body always feels heavy, but when I got up in the afternoon, it was almost like rejuvenation." Auntie laughed out loud. "That's a bit exaggerated. Mom, at least your face looks exactly the same as when I left the house in the morning." "It's just a metaphor. Anyway, that's it. The medicine is really magical." Auntie also found it incredible after hearing this, feeling like listening to a myth story when she was a child, and looked at little He Qing. "But I understand, Qing, what you and Grandma mean to say is that Grandma got better immediately after taking that medicine? She immediately became like this. What on earth is that medicine? And what does Lin Zhengren mean by boiling it? Does he mean he made it himself?" Little He Qing said softly. "That's about it. Anyway, Lin Zhengren told me that he made the medicine himself. There are 2 pills in total. He said one is for Grandma and one is for Mom. I also have his handwritten letter here. I'll put it in the bedroom later and find it for you." 2 pills? "You mean there's one for me?" Auntie pointed at herself and couldn't believe it. Little He Qing had already stood up and went to the bedroom. She said from a distance, "Well, one is for Mom. I'll take both." He Qing found the so-called letter from Lin Zhengren in the bedroom drawer. In fact, it was just a piece of paper. There were also some messy things in the drawer that were sent by Lin Zhengren, and there were many photos of Lin Zhengren. She walked out with the letter and the wrapped pills and handed them to her mother. Auntie had already stood up, carefully took it, and examined it carefully. After reading the handwritten letter, she confirmed that one of the pills was hers, and she was even more surprised when she realized that her mother was indeed cured by this medicine. Grandma also leaned over to take a look. She sighed. "If this happened in our era, this guy would be the reincarnation of a living Buddha. He could actually be Qing's boyfriend. Our ancestral graves are really full of smoke." "Qing is also amazing." Little He Qing smiled proudly and said shyly, "Grandma, what's so amazing about me? He is capable, not me. I just followed him." Auntie was shocked and whispered to her daughter, "Qing, can I call Lin Zhengren to ask about this?" "Okay, I'll ask him on WeChat first if it's convenient." Auntie nodded quickly, with a respectful look on her face. "Okay, you ask him first. Ask him if it's convenient." Little He Qing sighed that her mother suddenly became so respectful to Lin Zhengren that her tone changed. She immediately took out her mobile phone and sent a message to Lin Zhengren. "Lin Zhengren? Are you busy? My mother wants to talk to you on the phone. Linz Hengren, who is in the north, seemed to have known that this would happen. After all, medicine filled with spiritual power is definitely not comparable to modern medicine, and the effect will definitely be surprising. Even though this pill was not strong enough to give Zhang Jingshi a quarter of the pill, he was still afraid that the old man would not be able to bear it. Wechet quickly replied, "I'm not busy now, it's okay. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 284, Pills and Spiritual Fluids. After getting Linz Hengren's consent, little He Qing nodded to her mother. He said he could talk on the phone, and he was delighted. The call was connected and He Qing handed the phone to her mother. Linz Hengren's voice came out of the phone first. "Auntie, I haven't called you for a long time. How are you doing recently?" "Of course, I haven't called you for a long time. Auntie is fine." Auntie slowly sat on the sofa and hushed to her daughter and mother, meaning that they should not talk for the time being. She turned on the speakerphone. Auntie was inexplicably nervous and said, "Of course, how was your trip with her kicking outside this time? Did she cause you any trouble?" In the adult world, everyone would be polite first, and Linz Hengren was not surprised. It was just that little He Qing sat aside and wondered where she had caused trouble. Linz Hengren replied, "How could that be? He Qing is very obedient and won't cause me any trouble." Little He Qing blushed. Linz Hengren always said this on his birthday bed. "Thank you for your hard work in taking care of Qing. Auntie has a question for you. Are you a doctor, Ranrun?" "Well, I know a little. You know, I read a lot, so I occasionally study some random things. I couldn't do it when I was a child because of the lack of conditions. Now that I have grown up, I have started to study many things. The day before yesterday, I heard He Qing say that Grandma was not in good health and hurt her waist, so I made some medicine myself. I wonder if it worked for Grandma after taking it." Auntie was shocked when she heard this. Making medicine by yourself is something that most people cannot do. After hearing this, the grandma at the side spoke in an old but joyful voice, "Ranrun, you're amazing. Grandma's body is better now, and my waist doesn't hurt at all. The doctor here used to say that my waist injury cannot be cured. It's an old problem. I never thought I could recover." It was the first time that Linz Hengren talked to He Qing's grandma. "Grandma, you are here too? It's okay if you're well. This medicine is specially prepared for you. After you take it." When she said this, Auntie and Grandma looked at each other, and Grandma said to the phone, "Ranrun, wait a minute, Grandma will get a piece of paper to write down what you said." Little He Qing reacted quickly and helped Grandma get paper and pen. Linz Hengren smiled, "No need, Grandma, I just want to remind you." She took the paper and pen, and Auntie put her phone aside. She took the pen very seriously, as if she was chatting with some great expert. Okay, Ranrun, you say, we remember." Linz Hengren was ashamed on the other end. "Although my medicine can make Grandma's waist injury and other minor injuries recover, Grandma is old after all. You must not mess around just to recover your body. You can exercise appropriately, do some light things, or take a walk and go shopping, but you can't use a lot of strength right away, otherwise it is easy to get injured again." Linz Hengren had explored this pill when it was successfully refined, and it had the same effect as the last time he gave it to Zhang Jingshi. In other words, the pill can cure diseases and treat damaged parts of the human body. To a certain extent, if the disease is gone, the person can indeed live longer, but it cannot truly rejuvenate and increase lifespan. Even if the pill is taken, the body's functions will still degenerate due to aging. Unless you are intimate with He Qing Wen and Wen Lily, you can really increase the other person's lifespan, slow down the body's degeneration, and whiten the skin. Simply put, the effect of sex is far greater than that of elixirs. After all, in a sense, Linz Hengren's body is already full of spiritual power due to cultivation, so sex is equivalent to the other party absorbing the pure white spiritual liquid he gave, and the natural effect will be stronger than a small elixir. Moreover, Linz Hengren would give it to the three little girls many times every time. After listening to Linz Hengren's instructions, Auntie nodded and almost immediately glared at her mother. "Mom, you see, Ranrun said that you can't use a lot of strength right away." Grandma was speechless, thinking that she hadn't exercised for many years, and her body was restored to its original state, and she really wanted to move around. Grandma smiled and said, Ranran, I've remembered it. Thank you so much. Without your medicine, I don't know how long I would have to lie in bed. Don't say that. Just remember to take care of your body, exercise more and stay healthy, okay? Auntie continued to ask. Auntie is really grateful to you. By the way, I saw He Qing asked why there was another pill for me. What is this medicine for? Yes, I sent 2 pills to He Qing in total, one for Grandma and one for Aunt. You can take the remaining one. This medicine is a tonic. It can make your body stronger and will not have any side effects. Auntie smiled and said, oh, actually, I've been working overtime recently and my neck is not feeling well. And, she rubbed her neck and suddenly felt embarrassed. She picked up her phone, stood up and walked aside, covering her mouth. Auntie came out alone with her cell phone. It's a bit embarrassing to say this. I wanted to go to the hospital this week, but since Ranran knows so much about medicine, I'll tell you. I've been lower body. After listening to this, Lin's Hungren found that it was not a big problem. It's a small problem. Just take my medicine. It should be helpful to you. Auntie he nodded with a smile. She took the phone back to the living room. Lin's Hungren reminded the other party on the phone at this time, but Auntie he and Grandma, I have to remind you of one thing. Don't tell anyone about the medicine I gave you, because this medicine is difficult to make and takes a long time. It is definitely not available anywhere else. The quantity is very limited. There are only a few pills at present. If others want it, they may give it to them, and it will be gone when you need it, so don't tell anyone. In fact, Lin's Hungren can make 1 pill of this medicine in a few seconds after he becomes proficient in it now, but in order to prevent trouble, it is better to have this set of excuses. As long as a limited number is given, no one will go out and tell others. Auntie he and Grandma heard that this medicine is so precious, and they nodded together. They think so too. Such a powerful medicine must be very rare. Auntie knows. Don't worry, I will never tell anyone about this. I won't cause you any trouble. But Auntie he thought of another thing. But since this medicine is so precious, she glanced at her daughter beside her. Ranran, how about I give this medicine to He Qing? Didn't you say that it has no side effects and is a medicine for strengthening the body? Auntie is in good health now. Although she has those minor ailments, she can still be cured by going to the hospital. Otherwise, Lin's Hungren smiled and said, no, Auntie, I prepared this medicine specially for you. As for what you said, I understand, but now that He Qing is with me, how can I not give her the good things first? So just give it to you, don't worry about He Qing. Little He Qing on the sofa blushed and pursed her lips. Auntie he felt relieved when she heard this. Okay, Auntie is relieved to hear this. Thank you so much, Ranran. You gave us such a precious thing. Auntie doesn't know how to thank you. Chapter 285 Marriage Proposal. Lin's Hungren said politely, what's there to thank? It's just a little filial piety from the younger generation to the elders. And he doesn't need to take it to heart. And he has not seen Lin's Hungren many times in recent years, but she can also feel from the conversation and occasional meetings that this child is indeed getting better and better every year. It is definitely not something that ordinary people of the same age can compare to. How far he can develop in the future is also unimaginable to ordinary people like herself. She could only sigh, having said that, but such a big thank you gift can't really be just a verbal thank you. When will you come to play later? Auntie will prepare a table of delicious food for you. If you need Auntie to cook in the future, just say it. Auntie is too polite. But speaking of playing, I also told He Qing that I might go to the south to visit in a while, and I might disturb Auntie at that time. No, Auntie welcomes you to come. Grandma, I also welcome Ranran to come to visit. Grandma, I haven't met you yet. After chatting briefly for a few more sentences, Auntie hung up the phone, exhaled heavily, and smiled. Grandma asked quietly, did you hang up the phone? Auntie nodded, it's hung up. Grandma was very enthusiastic and smacked her lips. He Qing's boyfriend is such a rare talent. It's hard to find such a young man even with a lantern. Next time she comes, our family must treat her well. Don't worry, Mom, such a big favor will definitely not be perfunctory. Little He Qing saw her mother respect Lin's Hungren so much, and her clumsy little head became smarter at this moment. Suddenly, she thought of something. She asked softly, Mom. Auntie turned her head. What's wrong, He Qing? Little He Qing's face quickly turned red, and she smiled as if there was something good going on. Mom, let me discuss something with you. In the future, Won't I definitely marry Lin Zhengren? Auntie was slightly stunned, but she smiled and nodded. Her daughter's life would be different from her own after all. No matter from which aspect, Lin Zhengren was a perfect son-in-law, and he was very good to her daughter. He was the one her daughter could entrust her life to. Well, then? Why do you look so weird? Little He Qing chuckled twice, and put the fingers of her little hand together, opening and closing. What I want to say is, when I graduate from college, and he comes to our house to propose marriage, can Mom and Grandma not make things difficult for him? Can you agree to all his requests? Grandma was puzzled. Why make things difficult for him? Auntie knew that her daughter was timid, so she didn't think too much. Why is Mom making things difficult for Ranran? I've known Ranran for more than a year or two. I've been very confident in his family background and character for so many years, otherwise I wouldn't have let you go to the north to find him. You're making things difficult for me because you're not going to talk about the gift? Little He Qing had sweat on her forehead, but she continued to laugh. She thought that gift or not was a small matter, and she didn't plan to ask for it anyway. She said these things mainly because Lin Zhengren had several girlfriends, and if he came to propose marriage, then she would have to take advantage of her mother's respect for Lin Zhengren today and quickly trick her. Auntie made a decision on her own and said, "Don't worry, Qing. You and he are childhood sweethearts. I guess Brother Ranran has taken good care of you all these years when you and Wenwen were in the north. If you really marry him, our family will not ask for any dowry. We will try to give you more dowry. Don't worry about such things, is that so?" "That's good," He Qing waved her hands, "but I'm not talking about such things. I just want Mom to promise me that when he comes to propose marriage in the future, Mom and Grandma will never be angry with him. I hope Mom will agree to all his requests, because he will only say them with my consent." Auntie blinked, confused. "What are you talking about, Qing?" Grandma also shook her head. "Grandma, I didn't understand either." "Oh, I said it very clearly. It's just..." Auntie and Grandma looked at each other and laughed. Auntie said seriously, "Okay. Mom promises you here. In the future, when your brother Ranran comes to our house to propose marriage, as long as it is something that Mom can do and you are willing to do, Mom will agree to any request he makes. No gift will be asked and I will not make it difficult for him. Whatever he says is what it is. Are you satisfied?" Little He Qing wanted to hear this, grinning. "Satisfied, satisfied." She raised a finger, "but it's not very useful to say it verbally. I will write a letter of agreement, and Mom and Grandma will put their fingerprints on it. With this thing, you can't regret it." It was said that it was too late. Little He Qing quickly found a better A4 paper and wrote on it. "Today, I, Mom, and Grandma are three parties to testify that in the future, when Lin Zhengren comes to our house to propose marriage, Mom and Grandma are not allowed to dislike Lin Zhengren, be angry with Lin Zhengren, or make it difficult for him. No matter what he asks, as long as I agree, Mom and Grandma must agree. Finally, no gift." After writing, Little He Qing also found a red pen to paint on her thumb and pressed it on the paper. After signing, she handed it to her mother and grandmother with both hands. "Here, Mom and Grandma, press it too. Sign your names." The two elders were used to the style of Little He Qing doing things like a child occasionally, so they didn't say much. They used the red pen to paint on her thumb, pressed her handprint on the oath, wrote her name, and were successfully tricked. After doing all this, Little He Qing held the contract high. "I thought that this would be it. In the future, when Lin Zhengren proposed to marry several girls, my mother and grandma would have to agree, whether they agreed or not. I have to save it quickly. This thing will be very useful in the future. Mom, I'm going back to my room." After saying that, she went back to the bedroom, took a photo, and then packed this thing in the best box and put it in a hidden place. After that, Auntie took the black pill given by Lin Zhengren at dinner. It was indeed as Grandma He Qing said, the pill slid into her throat after swallowing it. Then after a while, it seemed like something was moving inside my body, warm. After a night, Auntie woke up from the bed. She sat on the bed and rubbed her comfortable and relaxed neck, feeling very emotional. She quickly took the toilet paper to the bathroom, closed the door and checked her body condition. It was confirmed that she was really well. Auntie realized the power of the pill. This thing is really powerful. It's much better than going to the hospital. Little He Qing also sent the photo of the contract to Lin Zhengren. "Lin Zhengren will show you something good. This is the marriage agreement. In this way, no matter how many girls you want to marry in the future, your mother and grandmother will agree, There was a happy emoticon package after the words. Lin's Hengren didn't expect He Qing to write such a thing with auntie and grandmother. But this style can only be said to be quite in line with the style of this silly girl. Chapter 286 Three Little Ones. That was the day when she sent the photo of the contract to Lin's Hengren. He Qing received 2 express deliveries on her phone. She went to the express station and found that one was a yellow box and the other was a red box. They were birthday gifts from Han Wenwen and Zhang Zuli. The 2 girls sent them together, using the same express delivery slip. The birthday card was also the same. It said happy birthday to my good sister and best friend He Qing. The card was signed by Wenwen and Lily. He Qing was happy when she saw it, but then she felt embarrassed after realizing something. Because if Wenwen and Lily sent her gifts, it meant that they already knew that the day she left was her birthday. Then they must have guessed what she and Lin's Hengren did that day. He Qing replied to the 2 of them awkwardly and smilingly, "Thank you Wenwen and Lily for your blessings." He in a rental house in Zidong City in the north, a fox wearing ultra-short shorts and off-shoulder short-sleeved shirts was lying on top of the pink bed. She picked a banana from the shopping bag on the bedside table. Smiling at the message sent by her best friend, the little fox raised one of her snow-white and slender legs. Her perfect waist and hips made her figure even more attractive when she was lying down. She supported her cheek with one hand and said to herself, He Qing is really much smarter than when she was a child. She knows more and more how to sneak her way. After that, Han Wenwen turned off her phone and lay flat on the bed jealously. She held the banana and stared at the ceiling in a daze. The sunlight outside the window made one side of the banana shine slightly. Brothers Hengren must have been intimate with He Qing on her birthday, right? Although it is also possible that nothing was done, I always feel that the possibility of such a thing happening is not great. After all, Brothers Hengren has completely become a carnivore. It's too much to sleep without food. Han Wenwen stared at the banana in her hand and threw away the fruit shell. The flesh was exposed. She stared for a while, and her face became redder and redder. Until a fox stood up, Han Wenwen looked at the banana in her hand, opened her mouth and took a bite. Chewing it in her mouth angrily, the banana broke in the middle. Bite Brothers Hengren to death, the little fox leaned against the head of the bed, eating the banana bite by bite, venting his jealousy by using objects to describe people. But this mood soon cooled down, so Lily also knew that it was He Qing's birthday? I thought she didn't know. It seems that she didn't ask on purpose in the car when we separated. If that's the case, it seems that everyone can spend their birthdays alone with Brothers Hengren this year. I have to plan it well. The little fox raised the corners of his mouth and threw the remaining banana peel into the trash can beside him. He pursed his lips and thought that the fruit he bought this time tasted good. He picked another good-looking one from the bedside table. He peeled the fruit again. Han Wenwen stared at the golden fruit in her hand meaningfully. Although Brothers Hengren has tasted He Qing, Lily and me, but Wenwen still has a lot of bad ideas that she hasn't used on Brothers Hengren. This kind of thing is Wenwen's specialty. I will definitely make Brothers Hengren addicted to me. Once he wants to have sex, he will immediately think of Wenwen. Han Wenwen used her hand to tuck one side of her long hair behind her ear. As the saying goes, geniuses are 9 points of hard work plus 1 point of talent. Han Wenwen knew that if she wanted to make Brothers Hengren happy about something and addicted to herself, she had to practice hard, and talent alone was not enough. Otherwise, why buy these fruits? Of course, they are for eating. If you don't eat the fruits, will you just leave them there and wait for them to get moldy? In another building in the community, Zhang Zuli, with the golden twin ponytails, was seeing her parents off at the door. She waved her little hand. Mom and Dad, go slower on your way to work. Lily's parents looked back at their daughter who had dyed her hair, and the father smiled. But Mom still said, Lily, next time you dye your hair, you should discuss such a big thing with Mom and Dad in advance, okay? Don't do such a thing again. Zhang Zuli stroked her ponytail with her hand and whispered, I know, you guys drive slowly on the way. After seeing Mom and Dad off, Zhang Zuli skipped back to the bedroom. Checked her phone. Sure enough, a certain idiot still didn't send her a message. Zhang Zuli was so angry that she sat on the bed with her cheeks puffed and waved her fists. Stinky Hengren, stupid Hengren. Don't we have to chat in the morning after chatting last night? She reacted. Oh, he has to go to the company today, right? Okay, forget about it. Zhang Zuli picked up the guitar from the bed and sat cross-legged on the bed again. Her beautiful fingers lightly plucked the guitar strings, and her proud face recalled the day they separated after the trip. He Qing said she was going home, but in fact she stayed with Zhangren all day on her birthday. Zhang Zuli looked disdainful and snorted. She sighed again and muttered to herself with a sour tone, "Stupid Zhangren." She sang the nursery rhyme she had always sung alone. Whenever she sang this song, she would always remember the scene when she first met that idiot at the market when she was a child. Twinkle, twinkle little star, the sky is full of little stars, big idiot. Zhejiang Garden, the community where Lin Zhangren lives. Lin Zhangren came out of the bathroom and saw his mother Lin Xiaoli, who was still reading in the living room. "Mom? When are you going to the Zhangxi music interview?" Lin Xiaoli looked extremely nervous. She looked at the book and mumbled as if she was reading in a low voice, "I'm going the day after tomorrow afternoon." "I'm suddenly so nervous. The day after tomorrow?" "Yeah, I know." Originally, Lin Zhangren thought that if he was not free, he would say hello to Sister Wang Wanglan. But the day after tomorrow, he should be free, so he might as well interview his mother himself then. Lin Xiaoli, who was on the sofa, said tremblingly at this time, "It's really different now than before. These 2 days I saw on the internet that this Zhangxi company has been very popular recently, but the interview rate is very low, especially the interviewer is very difficult to deal with. The pressure in the workplace is really too great now." Lin Zhangren smiled. "It's due to the times, but you don't have to worry too much, Mom. You will definitely be fine with your ability." Lin Xiaoli laughed, with cold sweat on her forehead. "I think so too, and I hope so." Lin Zhangren stopped disturbing his mother's study and went back to the bedroom. The phone on the bed rang with the voice of Xiao He Qing. This stupid girl called him in the morning. She said that and he got better immediately after taking her medicine, and she was very grateful. Lin Zhangren went back to bed and picked up the phone. Xiao He Qing asked, "Lin Zhangren? Are you back from the bathroom? Well, you haven't hung up yet? Is there anything else?" No, there's nothing. Are you going out today? I have to go to the company to see what's going on in the company recently." Lin Zhangren picked up a coat from the closet. Little He Qing grunted, "Have a safe journey." "Well, then let's hang up." "Woo, hang up, we'll meet again in a while, so stay home and wait for school to start." Lin Zhangren put on his coat and went downstairs to the Zhangxi company building. Chapter 287, Angry Jingxi. Lin Zhangren took a taxi and read the latest news about Zhangxi company. It had been about 10 days since Zhang Jingxi was discharged from the hospital. The popularity of the name Angel's daughter Zhang Jingxi had not decreased. Clicking on any post, you could see all kinds of amazing comments. Netizen A, this matter has been so popular recently, and you can see it everywhere. If it's true, it's too amazing, right? Netizen B, this CEO Zhang from Zhangxi company is so beautiful. I had the honor of meeting her once before, and her skin and temperament are simply amazing. It's true that she is an angel. Believe it or not, I believe it anyway. Netizen C, I heard that Zhangxi company has received a lot of resumes recently. I think the company has very good treatment. I want to submit a job and try it. I also want to become a member of the Angels team. Greek letter Omega, Netizen D, it's amazing that it can repair terminal illnesses on its own. By the way, does this angel have a boyfriend now? What does a natural boyfriend look like? I envy someone who can have such an angel. The comments of netizens were varied, and Lin Zhangren just glanced at them and flipped over them. Although Lin Zhangren didn't pay much attention to the company's financial report these days, it can be imagined that the positive feedback would not be small based on the popularity. After returning from the summer resort with He Xianzi, Miss Zhang, and the demon cult demon girl, you learn that the elder of He Xianzi's sect had a stubborn illness, and used elixirs to help him recover. After being cured, the elder of the fairy sect praised you highly, and took the initiative to ask Brother Lin to come to the sect in person next time, and he would treat you well. On the other hand, the queen of the imperial city has greatly improved her cultivation since you left. Not only has she easily recovered to her peak strength under your treatment, but she has also improved in recent days. After the above two adventures and contract feedback, your spiritual energy level has increased by 1 again. Currently, your spiritual energy is level 73. Lin Zhangren felt the subtle improvements in all aspects brought by the level increase. He was surprised that he upgraded so quickly this time. When he was playing in Linshan, he just upgraded 2 levels. It has only been a few days? According to the previous levels of the system, it stands to reason that the cultivation level will increase more and more slowly in the later stages. Could it be because of the contract signed with Jingxi? After all, as long as the person who has signed the contract with him improves, he can get 3 times the feedback, which makes sense. Compared to those 3 guys who have been playing around with her all day recently, Jingxi has indeed been practicing in this world. The taxi arrived at the Zhangxi company building not long after. Looking at the 7-story building in front of him, Lin Zhengren lamented that he rarely came to this place. The security guards at the door finally recognized Lin Zhengren this time. The guards on guard straightened up when they saw the person coming, and those sitting in the security booth also hurried out. The young security guard named Jiang Ming even took the initiative to greet Lin Zhengren this time. "Hello, Mr. Lin." Lin Zhengren smiled, replied good morning and passed by everyone. After Lin Zhengren walked away, the security guard in the security booth was puzzled. "I was scared to death. Why did General Manager Lin come here alone today? Sister Pan didn't come down to receive him." Security guard Jiang Ming said, "Why don't you tell Sister Pan? It's not good to let General Manager Lin go upstairs by himself." Another security guard said, "No, let's not meddle in other people's business. Can we just report the boss's affairs casually? Besides, General Manager Zhang is in a bad mood today. I guess General Manager Lin is here because of this. It is said that a department head of our company made a big mistake." Lin Zhengren didn't tell anyone because of this visit. He entered the building alone and was about to press the button on the elevator to the office on the 7th floor, but his keen ears suddenly heard something. Lin Zhengren turned to press the elevator for the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor of Zhangxi Company has 2 large conference rooms, one of which is a higher-end meeting room for the leadership, and the other can accommodate all employees of the office building. He followed the sound to the outside of the leadership meeting room, and looked at the figures of the people in the meeting room from a distance through the louvered windows. All the senior leaders were holding notebooks and pens, lowering their heads and not speaking. Zhang Jingxi, who was always gentle in front of Lin Zhengren, now had a serious face and sat upright. Her long hair was draped over her shoulders and her eyes were frightening. Lin Zhengren had never seen Zhang Jingxi so scary before. Her pleasant voice was full of oppression. "What happened today? You can send such a big mistake to the customer directly. Have you thought about the consequences of this matter?" Her voice was not that loud, but her expression was so scary that Lin Zhengren blinked several times. Pan Lin, the secretary behind Zhang Jingxi, was also trembling with fear and trembling as she wrote down the content of the meeting. It seemed that there was sweat on her forehead. Lin Zhengren stood outside the meeting room and listened for a while, and heard Zhang Jingxi leaning on the chair and said, "Pan Lin, go get me a glass of water." Pan Lin was startled and immediately replied, "Okay, Mr. Zhang." She walked out of the meeting room with the water cup, and turned around to see Lin Zhengren. Pan Lin, who was shivering, suddenly seemed to see a savior. With a smile on her face, she whispered, "Boss Lin? Why are you here?" Lin Zhengren smiled and nodded. "What's going on?" Pan Lin glanced back at the conference room and lowered her voice again. A department director inexplicably sent the internal product documents of one client to other clients, which made Boss Zhang very angry. No one in the company dared to speak loudly today. Lin Zhengren, "Has the matter been resolved?" Pan Lin replied, "Someone has been asked to coordinate, and Boss Zhang has also drafted compensation for the other company. I guess there will be a result soon." Lin Zhengren hummed, and turned to look at Zhang Jingxi, who was extremely serious in the conference room. The atmosphere inside was so depressing that it seemed as if everyone was carrying a big stone. Lin Zhengren asked curiously, "Is Jingxi usually so fierce?" Pan Lin suddenly laughed. She didn't dare to say anything bad about Zhang Jingxi. "You can't say she's fierce. In fact, President Zhang has always been very serious about serious matters. Although outsiders say that President Zhang is gentle, that's just what outsiders say." After saying that, she added, "Of course, she is definitely an exception to you. I have never seen President Zhang get angry as long as you are in the company." Lin Zhengren remembered that when he was in the pet shop before, there were indeed a few times when employees made mistakes, and Zhang Jingxi seemed to deliberately suppress her anger when she saw him. It seems that Jingxi still has some temper after being in the workplace for many years. "Pan Lin? Not ready yet," Zhang Jingxi called out suddenly in the conference room. Pan Lin was frightened, and shivered again, and quickly replied, "It's ready." "Wait a moment." Zhang Jingxi looked back and thought, "Why is it so slow to pour a glass of water?" As a result, She unexpectedly found another figure outside. Zhang Jingshi was stunned and puzzled at first, and then immediately stood up and walked to the door, half believing and half doubting. After seeing the man outside the meeting room, the originally serious Zhang Jingshi suddenly became a different person. Her face was rosy, and her gentle peach blossom eyes trembled and shimmered. After closing the door, her voice was as gentle as a kitten, and she couldn't believe it. Zhang, you are back." Pan Lin was dumbfounded when she saw this scene. Sure enough, Mr. Lin came and she was saved. Mr. Zhang was really gentle in front of Mr. Lin. Chapter 288, Being a Guest. In the depressing meeting room on the third floor, the senior executives of each department all looked at the meeting without saying anything. After an unknown amount of time, Pan Lin knocked on the door and walked in, touching everyone's nerves. "Dear leaders, General Manager Zhang just had something urgent to do, so today's meeting is temporarily over." However, General Manager Zhang said before leaving that he hoped everyone would learn from this mistake and must handle their own affairs in the future, and never let something like this happen again. The leaders of each department breathed a sigh of relief when they heard that the meeting was over and Zhang Jingshi had left. It seemed as if the big stone on their shoulders had fallen off all at once. Seeing everyone like this, Pan Lin smiled unconsciously, thinking that everyone was still afraid of General Manager Zhang. She left the meeting room. In the general manager's office on the 7th floor, Lin Zhengren was sitting on the sofa. Zhang Jingshi sat elegantly and dignifiedly next to Lin Zhengren, and was held in Lin Zhengren's arms. The Zhang family's eldest daughter, the deputy general manager of Zhangxi Company, who was fierce just now, was now as gentle as a newlywed wife. There was only a faint blush and longing on her face. One hand was held by him, and the other hand grabbed his back. "Zhang, when did you come back? Why didn't you tell me?" Lin Zhengren smelled the unique fragrance of Zhang Jingshi. Her slightly curly long hair and slender figure looked different from the three little ones when he held her in his arms. "I came back the day before yesterday. I tidied up at home and came to the company to see you and see if there was anything that needed to be dealt with." Zhang Jingshi leaned happily in his arms, looking at his clasped hands. "You came back the day before yesterday? You didn't even tell your sister so that I could pick you up. Why do you have to pick me up every time? I can just take a car and come here by myself." Zhang Jingshi smiled, and pressed Lin Zhengren's clothes with her slender fingers. "You shouldn't go out far this time you come back, right? Well, I don't have that much time to go out far. The next step is to finish the vacation and wait for school to start." School starts. Zhang Jingshi knows that the number of times they meet will be much lower by then. But there is still some time. Outside the general manager's office, Pan Lin walked to the door with a tea tray and saw the two people hugging each other in the office through the gap in the door. Secretary Pan Lin stared blankly for a while, and became more and more excited about the love between CEO Zhang and CEO Lin. She knocked on the door twice. "CEO Zhang, CEO Lin, the tea is ready." Hearing Pan Lin's voice, Zhang Jingshi sat up straight. "Come in." Pan Lin took the hot tea and put it on the coffee table in front of the two of them. "Nothing else, I'll go down first. If there's anything, CEO Zhang, CEO Lin, call me anytime." Pan Lin left and closed the door for them. Zhang Jingshi brought the hot tea to Lin Zhengren, and saw that Lin Zhengren was staring at her with some surprise. She knew what the other person was thinking, and her face seemed to be flushed with embarrassment. "Did you hear everything outside the conference room just now?" "Well, after listening to you being so fierce for a long time, I even asked Pan Lin what happened specifically that made them make you so angry." Zhang Jingshi bit her lip a little, fearing that she would ruin her image in Lin Zhengren's heart. "Actually, I rarely get angry. The main reason is that what happened today was really. I made Zhang laugh at me." "What's the matter?" He smiled. "Although it's the first time I meet you, but actually from the first time I saw Jingshi, I felt that you must be very fierce sometimes. Otherwise, you are in charge of publicity and diplomacy in the Zhang group. If you are always gentle, I don't think many businesses can be negotiated at all." Zhang Jingshi stared at Lin Zhengren with her peach blossom eyes. "Really? I feel that I have always been very gentle to you, even when we first met at the school gate." "Zhang actually thought that I was very fierce before," Lin Zhengren said frankly. "After all, according to my observation, your sister Zhang Jin always talks back to you, right? I think if Jingshi was always gentle, it shouldn't be like this." "So," Zhang Jingshi held her forehead, blushing and silent, only complaining about herself. "That's true." Lin Zhengren picked up the cup and drank a sip of tea. Jiang Jingxi put down her hand that was covering her forehead and gently held Lin Suhengren's palm. The two looked at each other and exchanged glances. Soon Lin Suhengren put his arms around her waist, looked at her tempting red lips, and kissed her. The taste of tea stuck to the corners of their mouths. Jiang Jingxi closed her eyes and her long eyelashes trembled. After a long time of intimacy, they hugged each other and talked again. Lin Suhengren asked, "Is there a lot of work in the company these days?" She shook her head slightly. "Not much. Didn't I tell you when I came to see you a few days ago? I am now able to handle work much faster than before. Although I don't know how you do it, it is indeed a lot easier. Is there anything you need me to deal with?" "Yes, there are a few important documents that need your signature. I'll ask Pan Lin to bring them over." She looked at Lin Suhengren and said gently, "Just don't go back at noon after you finish work, okay? I'll make you lunch myself and you can eat at the company, okay? I didn't plan to go back today. I was planning to visit your house before. I don't know if your uncle and aunt have time tonight. If not, then tomorrow." Jiang Jingxi became happy when she heard this. Zhang wants to visit my house tonight. "Okay. I'll ask." She turned around and greeted Pan Lin loudly. Pan Lin, who had been standing at the door to keep watch, responded outside the door and pushed the door open to come in. "Boss Jiang, you called me," Jiang Jingxi ordered. "Bring the documents that need Boss Lin's signature this week, and the documents I packed earlier." "Okay, I'll go right away, please wait." After Pan Lin left again, Jiang Jingxi took out her cell phone and called her father. The call was connected after ringing for a while. "Hello? Jingxi? What's wrong?" Jiang Jingxi glanced at Lin Suhengren and asked with a smile, "Dad, do you and Mom have time tonight?" Lin Suhengren wants to come to our house as a guest. When he heard that it was Lin Suhengren who was coming to visit, Jiang's father was naturally very welcome. After all, it was he who saved his eldest daughter's life. He wants to come to visit? Of course he has time. I'll tell your mother right away. We'll go back tonight. Is he back from a business trip now? Yes, just back, now in the company. Dad, you go first, I'll hang up first. Okay, your mother and I will go back tonight, and our family will have dinner together. After hanging up the phone, Jiang Jingxi happily filled him with tea again, looking at him gently. "Drink tea, I will go home with you in the evening." In the general manager's office of Jiang's group in Zidong City, Jiang Jin was sitting on the desk where Jiang's father was originally, and Fang Meng was now standing next to Jiang Jin as a personal secretary. The two heard the call that General Manager Jiang had made standing aside. Jiang Jin stopped writing, looked up and asked, "Dad, who is coming to our house tonight?" Father Jiang put down his phone and replied, "Lin Suhengren, who saved your sister, is coming to our house for dinner tonight." Jiang Jin and Fang Meng's eyes widened at the same time. The cold Jiang Jin was obviously happy now. She hadn't seen Lin Suhengren for a while. "He is coming? Okay, then I will pick him up with Xiao Meng after I finish my work at the company today." Father Jiang was puzzled. "You go to pick him up? No need, your sister should be with him now, and they should go home together then." Jiang Jin's expression was dull, and she repeated expressionlessly, "What? He's going home with his sister." Chapter 289, The Thoughts of the New Three Families. Of course, Father Jiang reminded, "Okay, Kaianqian, continue to process the documents. I'll go out and call your mother and grandfather. Tonight, Dad can finally meet this famous young man. I'm also quite interested." After saying that, Father Jiang took the phone and went out. Jiang Jin still looked at the place where her father was just now with a blank expression. After waiting for a while, she said to herself, "Why is it so natural for my sister to come back with him? Is it natural for them to be together?" Fang Meng said, "Actually, I don't know if you have felt it recently, Kaianqian. Whenever uncle and aunt talk about the eldest lady, they will also talk about classmate Lin Suhengren. It's like." Jiang Jin turned around and looked at Fang Meng. Her eyes suddenly looked very dangerous and full of murderous intent. "Xiao Meng, what are you talking about? You don't mean to say that my parents think Lin Suhengren is in love with my sister? How is it possible?" Fang Meng laughed. To be honest, she didn't want to think so. After all, she didn't know Lin Suhengren either. But it was true. Jiang Jin's eyes were cold. "The reason why my parents always talk about Lin Suhengren when talking about my sister is simply because Lin Suhengren saved my sister's life and my parents are curious about him. There is no such relationship between the two of them, nor is there any kind of sinful and shameful dirty relationship." Jiang Jin looked at the document in front of her again. and the pen in her hand wrote in a regular and emotionless handwriting. Speaking of which, although my sister is a little bit pretty, just a little bit, many things are not in the same world as Lin Sehengren. For example, age, she is much older than Lin Sehengren, 3 years older. If you round up 3 years old, it is no different from a 30-year age difference in this world. How can an 18-year-old boy fall in love with a 70-year-old girl? Lin Sehengren has no psychological problems. There is also family background. The family background is too different. If my sister has a personality like this, she will definitely find a boyfriend who is born with money, not a late developing type, unlike me. Moreover, Lin Sehengren doesn't like my sister's personality at all. I have been Lin Sehengren's deskmate for 3 years, and I am very familiar with his preferences. He likes the high-cold type, not the sister type. Lin Sehengren will not have a sister-brother relationship. The most important thing is gender. My sister is a girl and Lin Sehengren is a boy, which is also different. How can two species with completely different genders be together? Zhang Jin said a lot of things. Fang Meng was sweating as she listened to it. She suddenly interrupted, Qianqian, let me say something. I think that at this time, it is not possible to just use such a lie to get over the matter. You can say so many things at once, which means that you should also be able to feel the attitude of your uncle and aunt towards Lin Sehengren and the eldest lady. If you just lie to yourself, it is very dangerous. Zhang Jin's hand paused for the second time while writing. The shadow of her bangs on her forehead covered the light of her eyes, and the whole person seemed to be emitting black air. She stretched out her hand. Bring all the work this afternoon. I want it to be completed within an hour, then hurry home, take a shower, pick clothes, tidy up the room. Face Lin Sehengren with the best attitude, and put an end to her sister's ideas. Yes. Fang Meng went to the cabinet to get the documents, while Zhang Jin stared at the table coldly. Only Lin Sehengren, I will not give in to anyone, even my sister, I must get him. Fang Meng, who was holding the documents, looked back at Zhang Jin, and her eyes also had her own thoughts. Her mobile phone vibrated in her pocket, and Fang Meng picked up the phone to reply to the other party. Lin Sehengren, classmate, I will also get you in my own way. Lin Sehengren was busy with work with Zhang Jingxi at Xiangxi Company in the morning. After finishing the work, he went to the company's private cafeteria. He ate the lunch that Zhang Jingxi prepared for him. In the past, although Zhang Jingxi could understand men and women falling in love, she had never thought about what she would become after falling in love. She was curious whether she would become the kind of woman who would stick to the man she liked, sit next to him even when having a meal, and never leave his side. Now Zhang Jingxi knows. Her heart is even more excessive than what she just said. The feeling of falling in love with someone may only be known by falling in love personally. Others and even her former self will never understand this feeling. Zhang Zheng, let's go home early this afternoon. I want to go back and change my clothes, and so do you. I'll ask the designer to dress you up. Lin Sehengren looked at his current outfit. Is this outfit not good? Zhang Jingxi examined it and thought that it was not bad for just having a meal. Zhang Zheng has always had good taste in clothes. Okay, since you want to wear this, you can take care of your hair. She reached out and fiddled with Lin Sehengren's temples. I'll ask the designer to trim the edges for you, so you will look more handsome. Okay, Lin Sehengren didn't care about this kind of thing, so he just treated it as a haircut. Lin Sehengren asked, by the way, Jingxi, are you living with Zhang Jin and uncle and aunt now? Zhang Jingxi shook her head. No, I live with Qianqian and Xiamen. Grandpa occasionally comes to live with us, but my parents have never stayed with us. They are very busy. I see, so Fang Meng also lives with you. What's wrong? Nothing, just asking. Zhang Jingxi nodded and half understood something, and looked at Lin Sehengren who was eating curiously. Suddenly shy, why did Zhang Zheng ask the question of who she lived with? Could it be that, what he meant by this is that she asked in a low voice, do you want to drink a beverage, Zhang Zheng? I'll go get you a cold drink and drink it with you. Lin Sehengren hummed, okay. Zhang Jingxi blushed and got up and went to the refrigerator next to her, took out 2 bottles of cool drinks, thought for a while and said, do you have anything to do when you go back tonight? If not, after dinner, I have a projector in my room. We can watch a movie and chat in my bedroom. If you want to read a book, I can also ask someone to buy it. Anyway, after dinner, you can rest in my room. Lin Sehengren turned his head to look at her and saw Zhang Jingxi's implicit shyness. He also understood something. It's okay, but, she remembered the kiss Fang Meng gave her when she graduated from high school, and Zhang Jin. Lin's Hengren thought that there might not be much chance to watch a movie. Let's talk about it later. Zhang Jingshi blushed and nodded. Okay. According to your plan, after lunch, the two chatted. Zhang Jingshi also took a nap leaning on Lin's Hengren's shoulder. Since they had almost finished their work in the morning, Lin's Hengren left the company early with Zhang Jingshi and went to the villa where the Zhang sisters lived. Chapter 290 The Sisters' Villa. Before going to the Zhang family villa, they deliberately turned to Zhang Jingshi's private beauty salon, which has a one-on-one professional stylist. According to Zhang Jingshi's previous arrangement, Lin's Hengren's hair was simply modified. Don't make a big change to him, just modify it according to his style, Zhang Jingshi reminded the most professional stylist in the store. Zhang Jingshi basically only ordered her every time she came. The stylist was also very professional, because she could see that this person had a different relationship with Mr. Zhang. Otherwise she would not have done it herself. Don't worry, Mr. Zhang, I will definitely satisfy you and this gentleman. During the styling, Zhang Jingshi and Pan Lin watched by the side. It can only be said that professional stylists are really capable. After washing and blowing for a long time, the hair seemed to be unchanged, only some broken hair was trimmed, but the overall look was indeed much more refined. After finishing, Zhang Jingshi smiled and blushed. Pan Lin also joked, Mr. Lin is handsome and looks good in any hairstyle. After returning to the Rolls Royce, Zhang Jingshi examined Lin's Hengren's head shape. Smiled, Zhang is so handsome. She gently touched Lin's Hengren's hair with her hand, with a smile in the corner of her eyes. The driver and secretary Pan Lin, who were sitting in the front, looked into the distance, not daring to see what was happening in the back seat. But just by listening to President Jiang's tone, you can tell that the two of them are very close. Zhang Jingshi like this is rare even for those who follow her all day, and ordinary people will never see it. After driving for a while, the car arrived at a villa area. Just before reaching the destination, Lin's Hengren, who was looking out the window, suddenly saw something in the distance. It was a white-haired girl with long hair draped over her shoulders, wearing a pure white dress and passing by the end of the intersection. Because of her long hair, part of her side face was covered. As a result, Lin's Hengren could only vaguely see part of her face. The girl's eyes were filled with a hint of coldness and beauty. The figure immediately disappeared at the intersection. Zhang Jingshi was very concerned about Lin's Hengren's every move. What's wrong, Zhang? What? Lin's Hengren responded with a smile. Nothing, I just saw a very strange passerby. I have never been to this place before. Are there villas nearby? Strange passerby? Well, this is a whole villa area, but the occupancy rate is not that high. The environment is quite good and very quiet. Lin's Hengren thought that the most important thing about the villa area is the environment, right? He looked at the intersection again, thinking that white-haired girls are really rare in China. Maybe they are mixed race? The car finally stopped at the gate of the sisters' villa. After the driver got out of the car and opened the door, Zhang Jingshi and Lin's Hengren got out one after another. Zhang Jingshi glanced at the time. My sister shouldn't be here at this time. She's probably still working at the Zhang group. When you come in, sit down wherever you want. I'll go to the bedroom to change out of this suit, and then show you my house. Has Zhang Jin officially taken over the work of the Zhang group now? Yes, my father values Qian very much. My work at the Zhang group has been handed over to Qian one after another. I estimate that in about half a year, there will be nothing important for me to take care of at the Zhang group. Qian's work ability is very strong. After saying that, Zhang Jingshi looked back at Pan Lin. You should also leave work early today and go home to rest early. Pan Lin half bowed. Okay, see you tomorrow, Mr. Zhang and Mr. Lin. This is the first time that Lin's Hengren has come to the villa where the Zhang sisters live. It is a villa on the second floor. There is a huge yard with a stone road and a garage garden in the yard. The two maids cleaning the spacious yard and the driver who is maintaining the car are very conspicuous. Lin's Hengren looked at the driver who is cleaning the car. Is that Zhang Jin's car? Zhang Jingshi also turned her head to look, surprised. Really, is my sister back? So early today. As soon as the voice fell, the door on the first floor of the villa opened, and Zhang Jin, with long black hair draped over her shoulders, wearing a dark long-sleeved black pleated skirt and black shoes, walked out of the house. Today, she was dressed exactly like the ultimate female villain in those books. Cold and noble, beautiful and exquisite, with a sharp aura and full of murderous aura. Fang Meng, who was standing behind her, was the same as usual, with a black side ponytail and a fake cold expression. Of course, that wooden expression was for others, for Lin Zhengren and Jiang Jingshi. Feng Meng would smile on her face, and her expression would be much richer. As an assistant, she half bowed and spoke first. "The eldest lady is back? And classmate Lin Zhengren, long time no see, you are dressed very handsome today." Lin Zhengren looked at the pair of good girlfriends. Although they haven't seen each other for more than 10 days, the two people seem to be no different from when they graduated, except for their clothes. "Feng Meng, Jiang Jin, long time no see." When Jiang Jin heard this, her face blushed and she responded lightly, "Long time no see, Lin Zhengren, he has become handsome again. He is dressed so well today, he is so handsome in every way." After saying that, the second young lady stared at her elder sister again, and her shyness instantly turned into alertness. Jiang Jingshi blinked twice, curious. "Qian? Why did you come back so early today? Aren't things in the company usually busy until the evening? That's on weekdays. Today I deliberately finished my work in advance because I knew Lin Zhengren would come to our house as a guest in the evening." "Really?" Facing her sister, Jiang Jingshi subconsciously told the truth. "So Dad told you?" "I didn't call you on purpose because I was afraid you would know." Jiang Jin gritted her teeth. He knew that his sister had ill intentions towards Lin Zhengren. "If I don't come back early, it is inevitable that my sister will do something strange to my classmates." "Huh?" Jiang Jingshi, who is already Lin Zhengren's girlfriend, is extremely confident at this moment. "Qian, what does this mean? What strange things can I do to him?" After saying that, Jiang Jin suddenly came to her sister and put the two of them together with her body. "It's best for your sister to do nothing." She turned her head and looked at Lin Zhengren. "I'll take you around the house. Let my sister go back to her room to rest. Don't stay with her. Xianming and I will introduce my home to you." After saying that, Jiang Jin grabbed Lin Zhengren's arm and led him home, not wanting him to have anything to do with her sister. Jiang Jingshi saw this scene and said anxiously, "Hey, Qian, just talk and don't touch him." The four of them walked into the villa together. The house was more luxurious than the courtyard. In addition to the sofa and TV, the walls around were covered with some valuable paintings and artworks. Lin Zhengren couldn't help but say as soon as he entered the door, "Is this where you live? It's really spectacular." Jiang Jin hummed, "This is the living room. There are 4 rooms on the first floor. I'll take you to see them all." At this time, another person upstairs also walked down the stairs. He was an old but strong figure. "You are Lin Zhengren, right? I'm Qian and Jingshi's grandfather. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 291 Brother-in-Law. Jiang Jingshi didn't expect her grandfather to come early, so she hurriedly greeted him. "Grandpa, you're here early too." Lin Zhengren felt familiar with the other person's figure. He had seen him in his grandfather's retirement album before. "Hello, Grandpa, I'm Lin Zhengren. I'm sorry to bother you today. I finally meet you in person." "You can't say you're bothering me this time. You are the lifesaver of my precious granddaughter Jingshi, and you are a distinguished guest of our family. We can't thank you enough. You should know that I know your grandfather, right?" He walked slowly to Lin Zhengren, staring at the young man's temperament and conversation. "It's better than expected. The best of the best are always different from ordinary people at first glance." Lin Zhengren smiled. "Well, I know that you and my grandfather are old comrades in arms. I occasionally heard my grandfather talk about it before, and I also saw your photo at my grandfather's house. And the child marriage was also promised to you by my grandfather." Grandpa Jiang laughed twice. "Yes, the child marriage between you and Jingshi was arranged by your grandfather and me. Although it has been many years now, the child marriage is arranged. I have always paid attention to you. I know a lot about your affairs. You are young and promising. Now you are the general manager of Jiangxi Company at a young age. You are a perfect match for our Jingshi." Jiang Jingshi smiled shyly. At this time, Jiang Jin said coldly, "Grandpa, how can my sister and Lin Zhengren be a perfect match? They just work together. At most, they are colleagues." "Don't think wrongly." Grandpa Jiang looked at his granddaughter in confusion. Thinking that Qian had talked back to her sister many times recently, but she had never lost her manners in front of outsiders. Grandpa Jiang laughed awkwardly. "Don't mind it, the two sisters are like this usually. Kyankian is not unwelcome to you, she just likes to talk back to her sister, right Kyankian, he said in a serious tone, giving his granddaughter a way out. Grandpa Jiang originally thought that Jiang Jin didn't like Jingxi bringing outsiders to her home, and didn't like Lin Sihengren's attitude. After all, when Lin Sihengren was Jiang Jin's childhood sweetheart, Jiang Jin was not willing to go on a blind date with him, so she changed to her sister. But as soon as he finished speaking, Grandpa Jiang felt something was wrong, because when Lin Sihengren saved Jingxi's life before, the little granddaughter didn't seem to dislike this young man in the family meeting, and Kyankian was not the kind of rude person who would dislike someone who saved her sister's life. Jiang Jin nodded. Of course, I welcome Lin Sihengren to our house. I know Lin Sihengren very well, but my sister and he are not a good match. Grandpa was even more confused, thinking what did this mean? It sounded so strange. Why did I feel like it was my own illusion? Jiang Jin looked at Grandpa. Grandpa, this is Lin Sihengren's first visit to our house. Xiaoming and I will take him around first, shall we? It's not polite to let the guests stand and talk all the time. Grandpa Jiang nodded half-knowingly. Well, okay, then you take him around. Lin Sihengren will definitely be a frequent visitor to our house in the future. Take him to get familiar with the place where you and Jingxi usually live, he said to Lin Sihengren. Since you are here, don't be polite. Just like at home. Take a break after walking around and have a simple meal together in the evening. Lin Sihengren smiled. Thank you, Grandpa. Jiang Jin smiled and took Lin Sihengren away. Feng Meng also said, let's start from this side. This is Kyankian and the eldest lady's study room. With that, the three of them walked away. Jiang Jingxi was dazed with a question mark on her face and half stretched out her hand. Grandpa looked at the three people who left and asked, I just realized that Kyankian doesn't hate this Lin Sihengren. Jiang Jingxi looked at the three people angrily, but Lin Sihengren was already hers, and she was sure of victory. Answering Grandpa, Grandpa, you just found out? Kyankian not only doesn't hate him, but she likes him to death. They were deskmates in high school, and it should be obvious that she doesn't hate him, right? Grandpa Jiang looked at his granddaughter's expression at the moment, and he could really feel the joy on her face. Well, it's really obvious, but it doesn't make sense. Since Kyankian doesn't hate Lin Sihengren, why didn't she go on a blind date 3 years ago, but gave you the spot instead? Could it be that she hated him at the time but didn't hate him anymore later? Jiang Jingxi thought of that night 3 years ago and whispered, because Kyankian didn't know that a blind date was Lin Sihengren, otherwise she wouldn't have returned it to me. Grandpa Jiang was shocked. He just knew about this. No, Jingxi, you mean Kyankian, is she like Lin Sihengren? Jiang Jingxi sighed. It sounds outrageous that my sister-in-law likes my brother-in-law. But if I want to marry Lin Sihengren, this matter is almost something that must be resolved. Kyankian must sincerely bless me and him. That's right, but Grandpa, don't worry about young people's affairs. I'm going to change my clothes, and you can take a rest. After saying that, Jiang Jingxi walked to the bedroom, thinking about changing out of this set of clothes quickly and accompanying Lin Sihengren to look at the room. Otherwise, if Kyankian did all her own things, what would she do? As Jiang Jingxi left, Grandpa stood there alone, blinking his blank eyes. He said to himself, so my two granddaughters like the little grandson of the Lin family? Then why did I need to urge them to go on a blind date? Isn't this a waste of time? But in this way, things suddenly feel very troublesome. He turned around and went to the room to get clothes, thinking in his heart, sister-in-law likes brother-in-law, sister likes brother-in-law? No matter who ends up with it, it is not an easy problem to solve. As he was thinking this, Jiang Jingxi in the distance suddenly stopped and reminded him, saying gently, by the way, Grandpa, don't think wrongly. I am not competing fairly with Kyankian now, I have already won. Grandpa also stopped, you have already won? Jingxi means that you and Lin Sihengren have already. Yes, we are together, but Kyankian doesn't know yet. I plan to tell Kyankian when we have dinner tonight and give her a surprise. After she finished speaking, she went back to the room, but Grandpa suddenly felt that tonight's dinner might be unusual. In the rooms on the first floor, Feng Meng and Jiang Jin were introducing the layout of various rooms to Lin Sihengren, including the study, collection room, printing and utility room, and kitchen. The rooms are spacious and the layout is completely different from that of ordinary residential buildings. Lin Sihengren sighed, your place is really well decorated, and you don't need to go out to do almost anything, and you have everything you need. Feng Meng said, even if you go out to buy things, you don't need to go too far. There's a large regional shopping mall to the west from here. The daily necessities are very complete and are specially provided for the residents here to shop. Special shopping malls are indeed villa areas. The three walked to the private kitchen, and Fang Meng introduced, "This is the eldest lady's private kitchen." Classmate Lin Sehengren may not know that the eldest lady occasionally comes here to cook a few dishes when she is alone. It is considered a unique way of entertainment for her. Before he finished speaking, Lin Sehengren said, "I know about this. She likes to cook very much, and she cooks very well. I have eaten it many times." Fang Meng and Zhang Jin were suddenly stunned when this was said. There are several key points in a simple sentence. Fang Meng was surprised. "You know about this? And the young lady even cooked for you alone?" "Yes," Fang Meng explained, "not many people know about the young lady's cooking, and Kaianqian has rarely eaten it." Zhang Jin's face was very cold, and she clenched her fist slightly. "Sister, do you really think that this little trick can snatch Lin Sehengren from me?" she said. "Don't look at this broken kitchen. Go to my piano room on the second floor and take a look." Chapter 292 Hateful Sister. The three of them walked up the stairs to the second floor. Because the second floor has more bedrooms, there are more rooms, a total of 7. Starting from the direction of the stairs, Fang Meng introduced them one by one. "This is Grandpa's bedroom, next to it are 2 guest rooms, and then mine. Kaianqian's bedroom is the largest room on the west side, and the remaining rooms in the middle are the piano room and the collection room." "Collection room? What is a collection room?" Zhang Jin suddenly looked a little strange and said, "It stores some relatively important but not often used items. In the past, my sister, Xianmeng, and I put important things in it. It was considered a warehouse, but now only my sister and I use it." Fang Meng also smiled, knowing that the things inside have become very special now, so there is no place for her own things. Lin Sehengren recalled the 2 study rooms downstairs just now, thinking that the 2 sisters already have their own study rooms, but there is also such a collection room. It turns out that there are too many houses to use. "Oh, by the way, doesn't your sister live on the second floor? How come your sister's room is the only one on the second floor?" Zhang Jin had a blank expression on her face. "My sister's room is on the first floor. As for why it's not on the second floor, my sister and I have never gotten along since we were young, and we don't want to be together no matter what we do, so she chose to live on the first floor and I chose the second floor, so we can't see each other." Lin Sehengren smiled, but the tears that Zhang Jin shed in the hospital that day because of Zhang Jingxi's illness and the tears of gratitude when she learned that he could save her sister were not fake. In other words, these 2 sisters are the type who don't get along on the outside, but actually care about each other in their hearts. It really fits Zhang Jin's style. There's even a little bit of Lily's shadow. "Idiot. Big idiot." Fang Meng opened the door of the piano room while talking. "In addition, the master and the lady have never lived here because of work, so there is no room." The spacious and bright space in the piano room made Lin Sehengren's pupils light up. There are 2 pianos in the room, the same style as the 2 that Zhang Jin donated to the school before, and various music scores are placed around them. Zhang Jin said, "This is where I usually play the piano, but I haven't played the piano for a while because I went to the company recently." After saying that, she looked at Lin Sehengren with anticipation. "Would you like to play together?" "Sure." Lin Sehengren was also quite interested. So the 2 sat in front of the piano and discussed a duet. As the fingers danced on the keys, the harmonious, beautiful and noble sound of the piano also echoed in the villa. Fang Meng stood aside dignifiedly, looking at Lin Sehengren's handsome side who was playing the piano seriously, and her face also flushed slightly. Grandpa Zhang, who was drinking tea on the sofa downstairs, also looked up curiously. It was unexpected that this young man could play the piano. He sighed silently. According to Kaianqian's personality, this meal is not delicious. Even Zhang Jingxi, who had just changed her clothes and came out of the bedroom, was surprised to hear the duet. Because Fang Meng couldn't play the piano, the only one in the room who could play with her sister was Lin Sehengren. She walked up the stairs lightly, trying not to disturb the pleasant music as much as possible. Arriving at the piano room door, one hand held the door frame and looked at Lin Sehengren, who was sitting in front of the piano. Zhang Jingxi's gentle peach blossom eyes slowly widened, and she was surprised and admired the straight profile. After the song ended, Fang Meng and Zhang Jingxi applauded. Zhang Jin also praised, "Your piano level is still so good, and it seems to have improved a little compared to the performance at the graduation ceremony a few days ago." Lin Sehengren, "How could it be? It's only been a few days and I haven't practiced recently, but the tacit understanding between the two of us is indeed a little higher than before, really." After saying that, he looked back and knew that Zhang Jingshi had been standing in the distance watching. Just examining Zhang Jingshi's dress at the moment, Lin Zhengren was quite amazed. The other party wore a V-neck white long-sleeved top with a half-skirt, and her slightly curly long hair fell on her snow-white shoulders and swan neck. The shoes were changed to short high-heeled sandals, and the jade-like feet were looming under the sandals. Because of the change in clothing, the original earrings and necklaces were also modified. They became inconspicuous embellishments like small stars. After the whole set, the whole person looks so majestic and sacred. No wonder the journalists compared Zhang Jingshi to an angel when promoting her, instead of a goddess or other titles. After all, in terms of Zhang Jingshi's appearance, she looks like an angel at first glance, just missing a pair of wings. Zhang Jingshi walked over quickly. "You play the piano so well? I heard Qian say that her piano skills were not as good as yours before, so I thought you two were about the same, but I didn't expect it to be so good. It's so beautiful." Zhang Jin was used to her sister's strange truths. But it was true that her level was not as good as Lin Zhengren's, and there was a big gap, so she didn't need to refute it. Lin Zhengren said politely, "Zhang Jin's level is actually not much different from mine, and she is improving very fast." He saw Zhang Jingshi coming, "But Jingshi, you really look good in anything. Although women's suits also suit you, casual styles are obviously more beautiful." The young lady blushed after being praised. "Really? Thank you," but Fang Meng and Zhang Jin seemed to have heard something blind. Because when Lin Zhengren called Zhang Jingshi just now, he didn't have a nickname, no honorific, and not even a name, but Jingshi. This title is definitely not something that ordinary people can call. Especially Zhang Jingshi agreed. Zhang Jingshi walked up to Lin Zhengren and said to him, "Where have you been shopping? Have you finished shopping?" Basically, Fang Meng has introduced everything. Zhang Jingshi didn't expect that they would walk so fast. "Then you shouldn't have visited the bedroom yet? I'll take you to see my bedroom. The decoration style of the bedroom is specially designed by me before." As soon as she finished speaking, Zhang Jin stood up and blocked the two of them. This time she seemed to really feel that there was a big crisis. She didn't say anything to her sister, but simply wanted to pull Lin Zhengren away. "Let's go to my bedroom first. Anyway, it's next to it. My sister's bedroom is on the first floor and very far away. You can look at it later or not. Let's go." "Xiamen," Fang Meng also said in time, "Classmate Lin Zhengren, come with me. Qian's room is just outside the door." After speaking, she pulled Lin Zhengren away again. Zhang Jingshi stretched out her hand in the room again, puzzled, and clenched her fist and said angrily, "This is a robbery, right? This is your brother-in-law." She followed closely. Zhang Jin, who was holding Lin Zhengren's arm, looked at the front with a serious expression. What was the matter with the name just now? She didn't understand why Lin Zhengren called her sister so intimately. Jingshi is a nickname that no one has ever called sister like this except Grandpa, Dad and Mom. Does he really like sister? Impossible. I should have heard it wrong just now. Yes, I guess my ears are broken. I will go to the hospital to see if my ears are healed later. After thinking, the second lady suddenly bit her silver teeth again. Damn sister. Chapter 293 Her. Entering Zhang Jin's room, it was pitch black inside, with curtains drawn. Fang Meng had to open the curtains to see the whole picture. In the center of the room was an extremely gorgeous princess-style bed, but it was gorgeous yet simple. Because the sheets and quilts on it were neatly laid out without any patterns, but there was an ornamental curtain above the bed, which was elegant and simple. There was a high wall of books piled up beside the bed, at least several thousand books at a glance, a bit similar to Lin Zhengren's bedroom when he read medical books before. The last thing left was a desk and wardrobe for studying by the window. Fang Meng said, "This is Qian's bedroom." Lin Zhengren felt that the style of this house was really different from the impression of a girl's room. There was only one word in his mind, a rich female academic bully. "I've heard Fang Meng say before that you have a lot of books in your room, but I didn't expect you really have so many books." Zhang Jingshi also came to Lin Zhengren and was surprised. "So Qian's room is like this?" Lin Zhengren looked at Zhang Jingshi in confusion. "What do you mean? Don't you know the layout of your sister's room?" Zhang Jingshi nodded without hesitation. "Well, she doesn't let me into her room on weekdays. Although I have been here before, her room was not decorated like this when I came last time, so it's the first time I've seen it." Zhang Jin snorted. Only the bed curtains, desk, bed, books on the floor and wardrobe have been changed. My room hasn't changed much compared to last time. It seems that my sister is too old to remember. Lin Zhengren blinked after hearing this. What's the difference between this and changing everything? Don't you only have these few things in your room? Hearing Zhang Jin suddenly pause, the text humming to herself seemed to be wondering, why are you speaking for my sister? Zhang Jing, she pointed to an area blocked by a wall of books next to the desk. Why is that place surrounded by books? What's inside? I remember there was a desk there before. Zhang Jin refused to answer. There's nothing there. But Zhang Jing, she had already walked over just after she finished speaking, and Zhang Jin had no time to hold her back. As a result, she saw that the desk blocked by the wall of books was full of photos of someone. There were graduation photos, school program photos, graduation party photos, opening speech photos, opening speech videotapes, etc. And they were neatly arranged and spotlessly maintained. Zhang Jing, she opened her eyes in surprise, thinking that this was something her sister would do. Qian Qian's room had never had any photos since she was a child, not even family photos or selfies, but now it was full of Lin Zhengren or photos with Lin Zhengren on various festivals. What level of love does this require? She slowly looked at her sister in disbelief, covering her mouth. You are a bit disgusting, Qian Qian. Zhang Jin blushed and said indifferently, what's disgusting? Besides, who asked you to look at it? I just miss my high school life, Zhang Jing, she replied. But there are already some photos in the collection room, right? Why do you have to put so many in the bedroom? Zhang Jin retorted, I am happy, and how can you say I am disgusting? Sister put less photos of my classmates in the collection room. Lin Zhengren wondered what they were talking about. He walked over and saw that it was a group photo of himself and some people with his image, and was surprised. There are so many of me on the table. Zhang Jin was ashamed and stopped talking. Feng Meng also felt ashamed on the side. As a housekeeper, she had to cough to make peace, otherwise Lin Zhengren would mistakenly think that the second lady was a pervert. These are all specially collected by Qian Qian as a souvenir of high school life. It's just because Lin Zhengren has participated in various programs, so it seems that they are all your photos, but there is actually no other special reason. Zhang Jin secretly gave Feng Meng a thumbs up. Well said, Xiao Meng. Xiao Meng also responded with a thumbs up to Zhang Jin. Lin Zhengren laughed, but he just heard something and asked Zhang Jingshi, by the way, what did you two just say? Are there similar photos in your collection? Zhang Jingshi also blushed and said, well, there are few, some of which were put there by me, and some by my sister. You don't mind, do you? Lin Zhengren knew that Zhang Jingshi also had her own photos on the desk of Zhangxi Company. So he didn't care. It's okay, just put it there, I don't mind these things. Zhang Jingshi was about to say something else. Zhang Jin interrupted and said, after seeing my bedroom, let's go see Xiao Meng's bedroom? Xiao Meng, lead the way. Feng Meng nodded. Several people came to Feng Meng's room. Feng Meng's room was a pure girl's room and very simple, with a pink bed, a pink desk, and daily clothes on the balcony. Lin Zhengren, such a normal room, but it seems a little abnormal in this environment. Feng Meng closed her eyes and said, Lin Zhengren, it's a bit rude to say that about a girl's room, sorry. I just said it out of emotion, but it's really normal. Suddenly there was a sound of a car stopping outside the villa. Zhang Jingshi looked back and thought, could it be that mom and dad are back? So early? Zhang Jin obviously heard the voice, mom and dad are back. The four were about to go out, but Lin Zhengren suddenly stopped when he turned around, because she found something on the floor of Feng Meng's room that reflected white in the sun. Bending down to pick it up, it was a long silver white hair. Almost instantly, Lin Zhengren thought of the white-haired girl he saw on the road when he just came. Zhang Jingshi saw Lin Zhengren picking up the thing and asked, what's wrong? After finding the hair, she was also curious, is this hair? White hair? And it's so long. Zhang Jin heard the sound and turned back and asked, where did it come from? Lin Zhengren said, it's on the floor. Everyone looked at Feng Meng. Feng Meng also looked confused, I don't know, maybe it fell on me when I went out to buy something? Because I did see a white-haired girl when I went out to buy things today. Maybe she is mixed race? Zhang Jingshi didn't care. Don't worry about it. My parents seem to be here. Let's go downstairs to meet them. Zhang. Lin Zhengren nodded. Okay. Feng Meng stretched out her hand. I'll help you throw away your hair. Lin Zhengren put the hair in his hand, and Feng Meng pursed her lips and put it in the trash can. Everyone left Fang Meng's room and walked downstairs, but Jiang Jin's steps slowed down again on the way downstairs. Wait, what did my sister call Lin Sihengren just now? Zhang. Zhang? Is it true? My ears must be broken, right? It's definitely broken. The door to the lobby on the first floor opened. Jiang's father and mother, who were dressed very formally, walked in. Seeing several people coming down from upstairs, Jiang's mother and father looked at Lin Sihengren together, each with a sharp gaze. Jiang Jingshi greeted, "Mom and Dad, you're back so early." Jiang's father smiled and said, "Well, you came back early to meet the guests. You are Lin Sihengren, right? I finally meet you in person." Lin Sihengren also walked over and said with a smile, "Hello, uncle and aunt." Chapter 294, Breaking Out of the Siege. Fang Meng half bowed. "Master and Madam are back," Jiang's mother said. "I didn't expect you to arrive so early." Jiang's father stretched out his hand to shake hands with Lin Sihengren. His posture was formal. It seemed that he didn't regard Lin Sihengren as a young man at all. "Young man, I have heard of your name for a long time. I am Jiang Jingshi's father. I have wanted to meet you for a long time. Today I finally got my wish." Lin Sihengren shook hands with him and found that the chairman of the Jiang group was indeed quite aura. When his eyes looked at him, they seemed to be aware of his inner thoughts, just like an eagle's eyes that penetrated people's hearts. The old generation of entrepreneurs were indeed extraordinary. However, even though the other party's status was quite distinguished in Zidong City, Lin Sihengren did not have any stage fright. He just said calmly, "Uncle, you are polite. I have heard of you and aunt for a long time. Your reputation is very loud in Zidong City. I have always admired you in my heart." With a simple exchange, Jiang's father's mouth curled up. He could already see the potential of this young man. He was not afraid of the elders, and his tone was calm and his thoughts were clear. Although this was nothing to some veterans who had been through many battles. But the other party was younger than his eldest daughter after all, and he had such a demeanor at such a young age. At least it was unprecedented among the young people he had met in all these years. And inexplicably, Father Jiang also felt that this young man was quite friendly, and this kind of friendliness was a great talent for a businessman. He was very satisfied. When Mother Jiang saw the two shaking hands, she gave her husband a look, as if to say that he was her daughter's savior after all, so he should stop testing his potential today. She smiled and said, "Auntie won't be polite with you and will just call you Sihengren." Lin Sihengren replied, "Of course, Auntie can call me whatever you want." Jiang's mother said, "Sihengren, thank you for saving my daughter Jingshi's life. Auntie doesn't know how to thank you, so I brought you some things on the way here. You can take them when you go back after dinner. In addition, your uncle and I were planning to visit you some time ago, but Jingshi said she was afraid to disturb you so we didn't go." "Don't be offended," Lin Sihengren also smiled and replied, "Auntie and uncle are indeed too polite. How could I be offended? I have known Jingshi for so long. It is impossible for me to ignore her illness. I didn't plan to ask for any favor when I treated her," Jiang's father said seriously. "No matter what, your kindness to our Jiang family is here. If you don't mind, you can come to our house often. Your aunt and I welcome you very much." "Thank you." Jiang Jingshi felt that it was almost time, so she interrupted and said, "Okay, Mom and Dad, don't be polite. I asked the kitchen staff to cook before I came. You two take a rest. We'll have dinner in half an hour." Jiang's mother nodded. "Okay, but what were you four doing on the second floor just now?" "Oh, we were introducing Zhang's room just now. Now we only have the yard left to introduce. Let's take him for a walk in the yard." Jiang's father and mother also heard a certain point and looked at each other. Jiang's mother smiled meaningfully. "Is that so? Okay, let's go." After being agreed, Jiang Jingshi took Lin Sihengren to the yard for a walk. Fang Meng wanted to follow, but was grabbed by the sleeve by the second lady Jiang Jin. Fang Meng looked at Jiang Jin in confusion, and suddenly found that Jiang Jin's face was gloomy. "Qian," Jiang Jin said coldly, "Xiameng, come with me, emergency meeting." After that, she looked at her sister and Lin Sihengren going to the yard, and took Fang Meng to the study. After they left, Jiang's father and mother suddenly laughed. Jiang's mother said, "Did you hear what Jingshi called him just now? Did you hear what Jingshi called him?" Jiang's father walked forward and said, "Of course, it's clear what the relationship is between these two people by calling them so intimately." Jiang's mother followed her husband's footsteps and said, "What do you think of this young man? Need I say more?" He turned his head halfway, full of confidence. I will definitely take such a son-in-law with such a business mind. Hearing that Jiang's mother suddenly elbowed her husband lightly, the other party was confused, and she interrupted him. What business mind? I mean, do you think he and Jingxi are a good match? How come your mind is full of business, without outsiders around? Jiang's father suddenly lost his composure and grinned helplessly. My daughter calls me Zhang Zhen. What else can I say as a father? I'm just concerned about business matters. Jiang's mother smiled and snorted. Although we didn't talk much, I think this young man is good. Whether a person has aura or not can often be seen at the first sight. Our Jingxi has a reliable future. He sat on the sofa and analyzed. It's not good to say it too early. After all, he's young. Even if he wants to marry our Jingxi in the future, it will take many years. In addition, there have been some conflicts in the business between Zhang Group and Zhangxi Company recently. We must explain these things to him clearly during dinner later, otherwise there will be hidden dangers, especially in the future. Zhang Group will definitely be inherited by Qian. Qian's personality is not as gentle as her sister. It is not certain whether she can find a boyfriend like her brother-in-law in the future. After all, such young people are rare. We have to pave the way for Qian. Jiang's mother nodded, but then complained in a low voice, brother-in-law? We haven't got married yet. Why do you call him that? Jiang's father smacked his lips. Why do you say all the good and bad words? Then you are willing to? There are so many things. Jiang's mother elbowed him again. I am happy. You dare to say me. Over in the study, as the study door was closed and locked, Zhang Jin and Fang Meng looked at each other. Xiao Meng, did you hear just now? Zhang Jin asked darkly and desperately. Fang Meng groaned and sighed softly. Although Qian's question is very general, I roughly know what you are talking about. I heard that classmate Lin Suhengren called the eldest lady Jingxi, and the eldest lady called classmate Lin Suhengren Zhang Zhen. Zhang Jin was puzzled. Really? It turns out that my ears are not broken? I am not hallucinating, Fang Meng commented, unless my ears are also hallucinating, but that is impossible. I often check my body myself, and I have always been concerned about Qian's health. I don't understand why the two of them call each other like that. Are they playing house? Fang Meng was embarrassed. I think the situation is far beyond Qian and I's expectations. The eldest lady and classmate Lin Suhengren are very likely. At this point, Zhang Jin looked at Fang Meng in fear. She rarely felt fear, but at this moment her eyes were dazed. Fang Meng also paused and said, the eldest lady and Lin Suhengren may have a crush on each other. Zhang Jin breathed a sigh of relief, and was glad that it was not the worst result. Although I don't want to admit that Lin Suhengren is attracted to my sister, but Fang Meng didn't say anything. She wanted to say that the two might be together, but she couldn't say it anyway. Because in Fang Meng's heart, she didn't want Lin Suhengren to be with other girls. Zhang Jin clenched her fists. Anyway, we can't just sit there and wait for death. When two brave men meet on a narrow road, the brave will win. Tonight's dinner is the best time to declare war. Declare war? Qian, what do you want to do? Break out of the siege? Chapter 295 The Second Mrs. Declaration of War. In the villa courtyard, the days are long in summer, so it is still bright even when it is almost dinner time. Zhang Jingxi accompanied Lin Suhengren to walk around the yard for most of the time, introducing the flowers, trees, garages and other things in the yard, and then realized that her sister and Xiaomeng did not follow them. Although she didn't know what they were doing, being alone was a good thing. Seeing Lin Suhengren staring at a beautiful and fat polycarpus stopped. Zhang Jingxi said, this tree was bought by my father when my sister and I moved into this villa. It is said that it cost hundreds of thousands and it is growing very well. This kind of tree is cheap, but it is really beautiful. Zhang Zhen, Lin Suhengren turned his head to look at Zhang Jingxi. The other party hesitated for a moment before blushing and slowly speaking, I want to tell my parents about our relationship during dinner later. Do you think it's okay? Will it be a little abrupt? No, it's just the fact. What's abrupt? Just say it if you want to. Lin Suhengren will never be confused by the truth. After all, even if he has many girlfriends, he has always been open and above board. Zhang Jingxi was happy when she heard Lin Suhengren agreed so decisively, because only couples who really want to be together will be willing to tell their family elders about their intimate relationship. As long as you are willing, I remembered something when I saw my parents just now. Now Qian is the future successor of Jiang's group. After I get along with you, although my parents like you very much, they may not necessarily not be on guard against you, she explained. Of course, This is not that my parents don't welcome you, but you should understand that my parents are businessmen, and Jiang's group has been achieved to this level after their efforts for half a lifetime, so family matters are of utmost importance." Lin Zhengren smiled. "I understand what Jingxi means. I think that when we have dinner later, my uncle and aunt may bring up topics such as cooperation between Zhangxi Company and Jiang's group or non-interference in each other's business. To put it bluntly, my uncle and aunt are afraid that I will abduct you, right?" Zhang Jingxi felt that talking to Lin Zhengren became smoother and smoother, and he could understand many things as soon as she mentioned them. They are in tune with each other. Nodding gently, "Yes, although my sister and I don't get along on the surface, my parents actually know that we have a good relationship. Even if we are in two different companies, there will not be any economic conflicts. But if I follow you in the future, I will be yours and will listen to you. I guess this is what my parents are most afraid of." "Don't worry," Lin Zhengren promised, "just like what you said to me a few years ago, Jiangxi Company and Jiang Group will never be in opposition, only cooperate, because we will be a family in the future." "Yeah." Zhang Jingxi walked to his side and wanted to lean her head on his shoulder. "To be honest, if it were an ordinary person, my parents might not be afraid, but Zhang, you are so outstanding. After seeing your abilities, even I was actually afraid that your development might threaten Jiang Group. It's just that I didn't expect that I would really become your person at that time." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Jin's voice came out in the distance. "Sister, why are you so close to Lin Zhengren?" Zhang Jin's appearance interrupted Zhang Jingxi's movement to lean on his shoulder. There was a little disappointment on her face, but more curiosity. "Where have you two been? Why are you here so late?" Zhang Jin walked quickly to stand between the two. "I was just discussing something with Xiao Man." "You two can talk, don't get so close." Zhang Jingxi looked at her sister's jealous and vigilant eyes, and did not respond, but deliberately looked at Lin Zhengren. Zhang, we are done walking around the yard, let's go back to the living room. I'll pour you a cup of tea. I have collected a lot of good tea at home." Lin Zhengren responded. "Okay, let's go." "Kaianqian and Xiamen, do you want to have tea together?" she deliberately asked her sister. Zhang Jin was stunned again when she heard Lin Zhengren's response to her sister. "Drink it, really?" Zhang Jingxi covered her mouth in surprise. "Kaianqian, don't you usually not drink tea?" Zhang Jin's face was dark. "Is it your business if I am happy to drink it today?" Back to the tea table in the living room, Feng Meng went to make tea, but when she finished pouring tea for the second and eldest ladies and was about to pour tea for Lin Zhengren, Zhang Jingxi stretched out her hand to interrupt. "Give it to me, Xiamen, I'll pour it for him." Feng Meng and Zhang Jin were both stunned for a moment, and she handed the teapot to the eldest lady. "Okay, eldest lady." So Zhang Jin and Feng Meng watched Zhang Jingxi, who is usually elegant and noble, actually pour tea for Lin Zhengren. Although Lin Zhengren had a simple refusal, it seemed that this was not the first time that the eldest lady poured tea for Lin Zhengren, and she was particularly skilled. "Zhang, try it. This tea was given to me by a guest before. The quality is excellent." Not long after, dinner finally started. Grandpa Jiang sat in the main seat, and Jiang's father, Jiang's mother and everyone else sat down. Feng Meng directed all the servants to bring the dishes to the table in an orderly manner. Jiang's father did not beat around the bush, and directly talked about the future situation of the two companies in front of everyone. "Zhengren, let me tell you something before we eat. You saved Jingxi's life, and now Jingxi is starting a company with you. Uncle treats you as a family member. We are family, so I'll just say it simply and directly. My two daughters, Jingxi and Kaianqian, decided on their respective succession rights in the company a long time ago. Jingxi has a certain share in the Jiang Group, but Kaianqian will be the general manager of the Jiang Group in the future. But Kaianqian is young now, and she is excellent in all aspects, but I have to admit that my little daughter is not half as good as you. If you are determined to oppose Kaianqian and the Jiang Group in the future, with your capital at that time and the help of my daughter Jingxi, my family will be powerless to save the situation." Zhang Jingxi knew that her father would say this, but she didn't expect him to say it so directly. "Dad, what are you talking about? How could Zhang and I go against our family?" Who knew that Jiang's mother would seriously add, "Jingxi, your father said this because he really thinks Zhengren is a family, and he is not being polite at all." Jiang's mother looked at Lin Zhengren. "Zhengren, I want to make it clear, in front of Jingxi, Kaianqian, and my uncle and aunt, I hope you can promise us not to embarrass Kaianqian in business in the future." She looked at her little daughter again. "Kaianqian, I hope you can also promise your parents and sister that you will not go against your sister and Zhengren in the future." Zhang Jin had a blank expression and did not hesitate. "Don't worry, I will never go against my sister and Lin Zhengren's Zhangxi company. I swear, we can sign a contract after dinner." Lin Zhengren did not hesitate. He liked this directness. "Like Zhang Jin, I will never go against the group. Signing a contract is fine." Jiang's father and mother breathed a sigh of relief, and the grandfather who had been silent all the time also laughed. Zhang Jingxi and Fang Meng also smiled. Father Zhang raised his glass. "That's great." The whole family raises a toast. "I wish you all the best in the future." Everyone held up their glasses, and Zhang Jingxi said at this time, "By the way, Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Kaianqian, let me tell you something before you drink." Zhang Jin suddenly said, "Wait, I have something to say too. And it's very important." The elders looked at their two daughters speaking in unison, and were curious about what they were going to say. Zhang Jingxi was not in a hurry, wondering what her sister was going to say. She smiled and asked, "Kaianqian, do you have something to say too?" Zhang Jin hummed, looked at everyone's eyes on her, put down the glass without hesitation. "Dad, Mom, Sister, Grandpa, I want to say, I like Lin Zhengren. I must be with him, he is mine." Chapter 296 Battlefield. In the joyful atmosphere of everyone raising their glasses, as Zhang Jin said this, everyone at the table seemed to be stunned, like a frozen painting. The smiles on Jiang's father and mother's faces froze, and the pupils shrank and became confused. Grandpa also opened his eyes wide and opened his mouth. Even Fang Meng didn't expect Kaianqian's so-called attack to be such a simple and direct declaration of war. Because this was at the table, guarding the whole family. Guarding Lin Zhengren. Obviously, Kaianqian didn't have the courage to say "I like you" to Lin Zhengren in private on weekdays, but she said it in this situation. Looking at the incredulous eyes of everyone, Zhang Jin, as the person involved, looked calm at this moment. In fact, a jade hand under the table clenched a fist tightly to suppress her nervous heart. Her heart beat faster. Of course, she knew the girls had to choose the occasion to express their feelings, but it also depended on the atmosphere. The atmosphere between her sister and Lin Zhengren today was obviously wrong. Even if Zhang Jin lied to herself that the two of them only had a good impression for the time being, she was worried in her heart. At this time, retreating means losing. Because the enemy's troops, referring to Zhang Jingxi, have surrounded our base camp. If we don't break out of the siege with a surprise move, we will be defeated. In this silent atmosphere, the eldest daughter Zhang Jingxi was the first to react. She stood up suddenly and frowned. "Kaianqian, what did you say?" Zhang Jin said coldly. "Sister didn't hear clearly. I can say it again. I said I like Lin Zhengren. I must be with him, he is mine." If sister still didn't hear clearly, I can say it a third and fourth time. When the second time came out, the whole family didn't think it was hallucination. Zhang Jingxi didn't expect that her sister would use such a surprise move to interrupt her plan. And she is already robbing openly. Think about it, from the photos in the bedroom just now to Kaianqian's recent attitude towards Zhang Zhen, I think she has completely fallen in love with Zhang Zhen, and probably has the idea of having to get it. But Kaianqian, in this world, only sister Lin Zhengren will never give it to you. No woman will give the man she likes and likes herself to others. If there is, it is still not enough love, because women are the most possessive creatures in the world, and they are the most selfish creatures. Zhang Jingxi put down the wine glass with a firm look in her eyes, and said in a gentle tone, "Since Kaianqian has finished speaking, then Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Kaianqian's Iameng, what I want to say is that I am already with Zhang Zhen, and I am now his girlfriend." She looked at Lin Zhengren and asked, "Zhang Zhen, right?" Although Lin Zhengren was shocked, he was of course sure of the facts. "Well, yes, Jingxi and I are together now." Zhang Jingxi was very happy. But as the eldest lady said this to Lin Zhengren, the pupils of the people who were already shocked dilated again. The eyeballs were almost dropped to the ground in shock. Grandpa opened his mouth wide, and Jiang's father and mother also opened their mouths wide without caring about their image, stunned. Fang Meng didn't know what to say at all. She didn't expect Lin Zhengren to really be with the eldest lady. Zhang Jin's eyes trembled, unable to accept. "Lin Zhengren, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?" Zhang Jingxi replied, "If Kaianqian didn't hear clearly, sister can repeat it again. I said that I am with Zhang Zhen, that is, your brother-in-law, and now I am his girlfriend and he's my boyfriend. If Kaianqian didn't hear clearly, I can repeat it a third time. And it doesn't matter if it's a fourth time. Zhang Jin stood up suddenly after being dazed. Everyone looked at her again. Zhang Jin's clenched hand became stronger. After hesitating, she looked at Lin Zhengren. As Zhang Jin, who would never lose to anyone, except Lin Zhengren, since she was a child, even if it seemed that the victory or defeat was decided, she had to find a glimmer of possibility in the desperate situation. Because of Lin Zhengren, only Lin Zhengren, she would not give in to anyone. So in the eyes of everyone, Zhang Jin suddenly walked to Lin Zhengren. Holding his face, she bent down, closed her eyes and kissed Lin Zhengren on the lips. The red lips touched Lin Zhengren's lips. Jiang's father, Jiang's mother, and grandfather Fang Meng's brains were blank. Zhang Jingshi's pupils were also trembling. After a simple kiss, Zhang Jin stood up again. Even Lin Zhengren was shocked. He didn't expect her to do such a thing. Zhang Jin blushed shyly and bit her lip as she looked at Lin Zhengren. Sorry, Zhang Jingshi hurriedly stood between the two and asked loudly, Qianqian, what are you doing to your brother-in-law? He is your brother-in-law. Zhang Jin looked at her sister. She seemed to be guilty, but her possessiveness of Lin Zhengren allowed her to fight. So what if my sister is with Lin Zhengren? As long as you haven't gotten married and as long as you haven't got a marriage certificate, you are not really together in name. My sister and I haven't really decided the winner yet, so I still have a chance. I will not admit that he is my brother-in-law before you get married. Lin Zhengren is 18 years old this year, and there are still 4 years away from the legal age for marriage. During these 4 years in college, I will definitely let Lin Zhengren know that I am more suitable for him than my sister. I hope that my sister can bless us at the wedding. Zhang Jingshi gritted her teeth for the first time. This is the only thing you can't even think about, Qianqian. Since I'm already with him, my sister will never give him to anyone else. Besides, do you think this is a kiss? Lips touching lips is not a kiss at all, and you don't even know how lovers kiss. Lin Zhengren also stood up at this time and was about to say something. Zhang Jingshi turned around and took a wet wipe from the table to wipe Lin Zhengren's lips, and then in front of everyone. She stood on tiptoe and kissed Lin Zhengren's lips, hugging his waist. And she took the initiative to open her red lips and kissed. Zhang Jin saw this scene with embarrassment on her face. She couldn't even look at it, and felt uncomfortable. Staring at the boy she liked being kissed so boldly by her sister, there were fluorescent tears in her eyes. She turned around and ran out. Fang Meng couldn't bear to watch her sweetheart being kissed, so she stood up and chased after him. Qianqian. Qianqian. After Zhang Jin left the villa, Zhang Jingshi also stopped kissing. She had always been gentle and had never done such a thing in public. But she still did it to declare her sovereignty. She slowly put down her heels and said sorry to Lin Zhengren with a blushing face. The two sisters were the same. Then she turned around to look at her sister who ran out, and looked at her father and mother who had completely overturned their perception of their two daughters. Zhang Jingshi leaned her forehead on Lin Zhengren's chest again, closed her eyes and pursed her lips. As you can imagine, this sumptuous dinner tonight is inedible. A few minutes later, the fresh and expensive meals were taken back to the restaurant. The professional chefs looked confused. Why are they all taken back? Do the master and the mistress think that today's dishes are not good? The people who took the dishes back didn't know what was going on, because the servants were not present at the scene. Not long after, in the villa yard, Lin Zhengren and Zhang Jingshi received a message on their mobile phones. It was from Fang Meng. Miss Lin Zhengren, don't worry, Qianqian is watching over me, she is fine. Chapter 297, Victory. After receiving the message, both of them looked at their phones. Father and Mother Zhang have not yet completely recovered from the shock, but fortunately they have been in the business world for many years. They know that even if they encounter unexpected things, the most important thing is to stay calm. So in the yard, except for Zhang Jin and Grandpa Fang Meng, everyone else was there. Father Zhang walked in front of Lin Zhengren, and Mother Zhang looked at her eldest daughter beside her in surprise. She had never seen her eldest daughter so tactless. Zhang Jingshi did not respond to her mother's gaze. Father Zhang apologized. Zhengren, our two girls made a fool of you today, and we didn't treat you well. So you go back today, and your aunt and I have to deal with this matter. Mother Zhang, next time we have time, our family will treat you well. I'm really sorry this time, so I won't keep you for now. Lin Zhengren understood that Jingshi and Zhang Jin did this in front of their parents, and as an elder, he was worried. Lin Zhengren smiled and said, it's nothing, but I hope Uncle and Auntie can understand Jingshi. Don't blame her, The situation just now was too unexpected. I think Jingxi also acted subconsciously. Jiang's mother looked at her daughter again. Jingxi didn't say anything but just half lowered her head. Jiang's mother said, "We understand, since you two are already together, then what happened just now is a bit indecent, but it can be explained. That is, Qian, that child is indeed a little unstable. We will talk to her later." Jiang's father let out a long sigh, wanted to say something but didn't, just said again, "I'm sorry to make you laugh, it's not a joke, it's just an unexpected situation. Then I'll leave first. Goodbye uncle and auntie." "Goodbye Jingxi." Jingxi looked up at him when she heard the voice, and said gently, "Then pay attention to safety on the road, and ask the driver to take you slowly." As the two looked at each other, Lin Zhengren understood Jingxi's thoughts. So he raised his lips, "I know, then I'm leaving. See you tomorrow at the company." Jingxi was happy to hear the 3 words "see you tomorrow." Zheng really knew what he was thinking and nodded, "Okay, see you tomorrow." Lin Zhengren got on the car and was taken away by the driver. The family looked at the direction where Lin Zhengren left, and Jingxi's eyes kept watching the car disappear at the intersection. Then Jiang's father suddenly coughed. Jingxi was startled and embarrassed again. Jiang's father snorted and said to his wife, "Go home. Call our precious daughter who ran away and ask her to come back for a meeting." Although Jiang's mother always talks back to her husband, she still doesn't talk back when it comes to important things. This is also an important factor in the couple's cooperation in the company for so many years. Jiang's father said to his eldest daughter, "I'll call your sister, you go back to the house and sit down." Yeah, in a park outside the villa area, Zheng Jin looked at the pond in the park silently after being caught by Fang Meng. Even if she was sad, the second young lady didn't cry loudly, but tears silently fell from her eyes. Fang Meng took out a pack of tissues from her pocket, opened it and handed her 2 pieces. "Qian, wipe your tears first." She didn't take it. "What's so good about my sister? The two of them are actually together. Lin Zhengren actually likes her, and my sister kissed him in front of me. It's so shameless." Fang Meng recalled the scene just now, and was also jealous and surprised. "I didn't expect that the always calm eldest lady would do that kind of thing in front of the master and the lady, but the eldest lady did this to make Qian give up." "Sister, dream." Zheng Jin gritted her teeth, "I will never give up. There is only one Lin Zhengren in this world. I will not give him to anyone, not even my sister." Fang Meng handed the tissue forward again, "But Qian, you are also bold enough to say that so directly, and in front of everyone. Doing that kind of thing to classmate Lin Zhengren is actually the same as the eldest lady." Zheng Jin took a deep breath and exhaled the turbid air, took the tissue and wiped her tears. "It seems that she has become strong. I lost this dinner today, but it was just a small failure. As I said just now, as long as they haven't married, I still have a chance. It's uncertain who Lin Zhengren will be with in the end. So what if they are together temporarily? Being together is nothing more than hugging and kissing reasonably every day and calling each other day and night. That's all." At this point, Zheng Jin seemed to realize something in her mind. Her sister said that she didn't understand kissing between lovers at all, and then she kissed Lin Zhengren. This means that her sister has kissed Lin Zhengren many times in private. Zheng Jin's eyes trembled a few times at this moment, and her lips trembled. Finally, she couldn't hold it back and cried. Fang Meng was shocked. "Qian? What's wrong with you? Wow, why would Lin Zhengren like my sister? Obviously, my sister and I are both beautiful, and I am younger than my sister, and I have known him longer. I was with him every day in high school. He also taught me to play the piano. Why would he choose my sister Xiameng? I don't understand." Fang Meng hugged Zheng Jin, listening to Zheng Jin crying in her arms. She had never seen Zheng Jin so sad in all these years. It was like 1,000,000 soldiers against 300,000 on the battlefield, and then they were defeated and couldn't accept it. Patting her back gently, "Okay, don't be sad, Qian, just like you said, we haven't completely failed, right? Just like you said, there's still a chance. Wow, but I still can't accept my sister kissing Lin Zhengren. How can my sister kiss him?" As soon as the voice fell, Fang Meng's phone rang. It was Jiang's mother calling. "Qian, it's Madam calling." Zheng Jin's crying stopped very quickly. "Pick it up." After Fang Meng picked up the phone, Jiang's mother first asked about Zheng Jin's situation, and Fang Meng said it was nothing serious. Then she asked the two to go back. Fang Meng nodded. Okay, I know, madam, I'll go back with Qian after her emotions have calmed down." "Okay, you and the master don't worry too much. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Jin asked, "Are you asking me to go back for a meeting?" "Well, the master seems to be very angry. Grandpa, the master, the lady, and the eldest lady are all waiting for you." Zhang Jin stretched out her hand in her arms, and her voice became cold again. "Xiao Meng, give me another tissue." "Oh, okay." Another tissue was handed to Zhang Jin. Zhang Jin wiped her tears and stood up again, and her expression returned to normal with the naked eye. "Can you tell that I cried?" "A little. My eyes are a little red." Feng Meng wiped the corners of her eyes with her hand. "Then accompany me to find a place to wash my face, and then we'll go back. Since we took the initiative to declare war, we can't be deserters. This match with my sister will be the only one in my life that I can't lose." Feng Meng sighed and smiled. "Qianqian is indeed Qianqian. No one has been able to defeat you in all these years. If you fail, just conserve your energy and defeat the opponent again." Except classmate Lin Sehengren, Zhang Jin snorted lightly, turned around and looked for a place to wash her face. "In this world, no one except Lin Sehengren can defeat me." She paused and said to herself, "I will win this battle." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 298 The Hot Lin Sehengren. After washing her face, Zhang Jin completely restored her usual aloof aura. She walked in from outside the villa with powerful steps and a strong aura. Feng Meng followed closely behind. In the living room of the villa, Grandpa Zhang, Father Zhang and Mother all looked over, but Zhang Jing she just sat there quietly and elegantly. She didn't look at her sister and didn't say a word. "I'm back," the second young lady spoke coldly. Feng Meng also half bowed. "Grandpa, Master, Madam, Miss, we are back." Father Zhang raised his head and said sternly, "You still remember to come back? I thought you were stimulated and would not come back tonight." Zhang Jin looked at her father. "Didn't you ask me to come back, huh? Besides, this is my home, why shouldn't I come back?" "Then what did you run out for?" "Shopping." "I think you are getting more and more disobedient as you grow older. How cute and well-behaved were you when you were a child? Look at you now, you are still cute now," Zhang Jin replied coldly. If she wasn't cute, how could she snatch a man? "You?" Father Zhang was speechless. Mother Zhang gave her little daughter a look and whispered, "Hurry up and sit down. Stop talking back to your dad." "What time is it?" Zhang Jin whispered back. "I didn't talk back to my dad. I was just stating the facts." Then she sat on the same sofa with Zhang Jingxi. However, the two sisters usually sat on the sofa with a body space between them. Today, they sat on each side of the sofa, leaving a large space in the middle. It was as if they were incompatible. Zhang Jingxi looked at her sister with peach blossom eyes. Zhang Jin's long black hair fell on her shoulders as she sat, and she glanced at her sister out of the corner of her eye. The two girls snorted tacitly and never looked at each other again. Mother Zhang was helpless, and for fear that her husband would get angry, she spoke first. "Look at you two sisters. Usually, your mother doesn't say anything when you two are just fighting, but what are you doing today? Sister, don't be polite. Qianqian, you're like crazy. Do you know what you did while eating just now? How could you?" She even found it unbelievable. "How could you say that you like your brother-in-law in front of so many people?" It's a good thing there were no outsiders present. Zhang Jin was puzzled. "How did he become my brother-in-law?" Father Zhang interrupted. "How could he not be your brother-in-law? Didn't you hear your sister say that the two of them were together?" "When you heard it, I had already confessed my feelings. I didn't know." "You?" Father Zhang slapped the table, but instead of scaring his two daughters, he scared his wife, who covered her chest. "You did it on purpose, didn't you? Do you think your mother and I can see it? Or are we both stupid? Or do you think you are stupid?" "Yes, your sister announced the news that she was with Lin Sehengren later than you," Father Zhang affirmed, "but before dinner, didn't you hear your sister calling Lin Sehengren Zhang Zhang all the time? Your mother and I have heard it even at our ages. Also, when has your sister been so nice to a boy in all these years? Have you ever thought about what their relationship is? Don't you think it's abnormal?" Zhang Jin responded, "I have thought about it. My sister and Lin Sehengren are just my sister's friends, and at most they are colleagues. It will only be this kind of relationship in the future. Why are you like this, girl? Do you know that you will be the general manager of Zhang Group in the future?" Zhang Jin was fearless. "How am I? And what does this have to do with the general manager? Linz Hengren is my classmate and my deskmate. He is the class monitor and I am the deputy class monitor. I have known him for more than 3 years. Don't I have the right to like a boy? She was not convinced. Why does my sister have the right? I'm not a child. The grandfather, who is the most serious on weekdays, didn't utter a word at this time, but just kept drinking tea with sweat on his forehead. After all, he always felt that he was the culprit of this matter. He was the one who introduced such a boy to his granddaughter. Who could have thought that things would develop like this? It is said that the two sisters like different things since childhood, but why are they unexpectedly united in the aspect of men? Jiang's father gritted his teeth. I really don't know how to say hello to you. Who said that you can't like boys? Did I say that you can't fall in love? But you can't like anyone? Your sister is with someone. What kind of behavior is this? It's fair competition at most. As I said, if you don't get married, you can't be together. Small setbacks are nothing. Didn't Dad always say that you should learn to face difficulties when you encounter difficulties? I didn't do it, he wanted to say that you learned it at this time, but then he thought that his little daughter seemed to like to face difficulties no matter what she faced, so he had to say, you really learned this advantage from me. I asked you to learn it. Jiang's mother heard this and glanced at her husband, thinking that you are shameless at your age. Jiang's mother comforted her husband. All right, everyone knows that you are a good father. If you have emotions, just vent them. The most important thing is to solve the problem. Otherwise, how long will this discussion last? Jiang's father was speechless and looked at his two precious daughters fiercely again. Today, in front of the whole family, you two should express your opinions to me like last time. Jingxi speaks first. Jingxi looked at her father. He saved my life, and I am already with him. I think Mom and Dad can also see my attitude towards him. I am already his, so I will always follow him and will not separate. Zhang Jin said, he saved my sister's life, and I am very touched, so as a younger sister, I should take my sister's place and pledge my love to him. Everyone looked at Zhang Jin with question marks on their faces. Zhang Jin continued expressionlessly, and I am familiar with him enough. I used to think that I would never like any boy in my life, but after experiencing some things in school, I am sure that I have completely fallen in love with him. Now that I have someone I like, I will keep liking him and will not stop until I get him. Zhang Jingxi frowned. Wait? She saved my life. Why are you promising her your life? I should be the one to promise. Zhang Jin looked at her sister. Didn't you say before that you wouldn't like boys? I am just fulfilling your wish. After Linz Hengren and I are together, you will be free. Long live freedom, Zhang Jingxi retorted. Long live what? You said before that you wouldn't like her. Why don't you just take this freedom? The two sisters glared at each other, then suddenly turned around and snorted again. Father Zhang nodded and looked at the two of them with despair. Okay, I really see it. Linz Hengren is more important than our Zhang family's industry in such a big family? When you two sisters divided the company's shares that year, you didn't hold such different views. Now you are arguing like this over Linz Hengren. Zhang Jin looked to the right. If sister wants shares in the company, then I can sign another contract to give all the shares to sister. I want Linz Hengren. Anyway, I believe that with him, I can make a comeback even without money. He is more precious than anything else. Zhang Jingxi looked to the left. Kyankian, just dream about your daydreams. I can also give you shares, but don't even think about your brother-in-law's affairs. Sister will not back down even a single step. When Father Zhang heard these conversations, he doubted his life. He pointed at the two daughters and looked at his wife in surprise. Aren't you listening? These are our two precious daughters? Listen. Listen quickly. Haha. Shares worth billions are being pushed back and forth like this. No one wants them yet. Jiang's mother suddenly laughed and sighed at her husband's laughter, and said to her husband, there is a word called boomerang on the internet now. I think this boomerang finally hit you, right? Linz Hengren is indeed good, but good things are indeed hot to the touch? Chapter 299 Jealousy. Father Zhang shook his head and sat on the sofa tiredly. People outside say that our Zhang family has produced an angel, a genius. They say that no matter whether it is Jingxi or Kyankian, there are few men in this world who can match them. They say that it is difficult for you two to look up to each other. What is the result? Now it is not that others are worthy of us, but that my two daughters are fighting for a man. The company is gone and etiquette is lost. During the meal, It was Qianqian who confessed and Jingxi who confessed, and it was Qianqian who kissed and the sister who kissed. He spread his hands. I have been a father for so many years, and I have never seen you two kiss me on the face. Now you kiss other men in front of me. And you push the company that your mother and I have worked hard for so many years. Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin continued to keep silent, but in fact they were shy about what happened just now. After all, it was in front of their parents. Seeing that the two were silent, Jiang's father raised his hand angrily and said to his wife loudly, I don't care about this matter anymore. I can't care about it. How can I care about it when there is no sign of reconciliation? Let's just have another child and let them fight over it. Let the new daughter inherit the company. Jiang's mother was helpless. Another child? Let's not talk about whether we can still have children at our ages, and whether our talents are better than Jingxi and Jinjin's. Even if we have another daughter, have you ever thought about what if she still likes Lin Suhengren when she grows up? Jiang's father widened his eyes when he heard this. What are you talking about? How can she still like Lin Suhengren if she has another child? How old is Lin Suhengren? How old will she be if she has another child? Aren't there many girls who like older uncles? Jiang's mother smiled and said, I'm just making an analogy. What you mean is that you are just saying this in anger. Look how scared you are, and your angry words can't make others angry, so you can only make yourself angry. Jiang's father was speechless and sighed heavily. In the end, it was Grandpa who interrupted and put down the teacup in his hand. Okay. Today's matter is different from the previous meetings in our family. It has nothing to do with interests but involves emotional issues. No one can stop one of you from disliking Lin Suhengren, and you really don't like him. We can't make a decision. Grandpa knows that both Jingxi and Qianqian are very sentimental people, but it is impossible to get what you want no matter how sentimental they are. It's not like the old society says that you two marry the same person. Jiang's father raised his hand in fear when he heard this, meaning that Dad, don't talk nonsense. This is incredible. Zhang Jingxi was also puzzled. Grandpa, I'm already with him. Isn't this considered a result? Grandpa Zhang nodded. It stands to reason that it is, but Qianqian is right. After all, they haven't gotten married yet. You have to keep an eye on Lin Suhengren in the next 4 years. Zhang Jingxi opened her red lips slightly, wanting to say something but unable to. Grandpa Zhang, so I think it's best for me and your parents as elders not to care about this matter. I just hope that you two will promise me that no matter who gets Lin Suhengren and who doesn't, you can't hate your family and bless each other. After all, you two are sisters who grew up together. Suddenly, they said in unison. It was Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin who said together, don't worry, I won't lose. Jiang's father and mother. Jiang's father frowned and asked again, what if I lose? The two sisters said in unison, no ifs, we will never lose. Grandpa Zhang laughed when he saw this scene. Okay, with a tacit understanding between you sisters, I don't think you will become enemies in the future. Since you won't become enemies, let this matter take its course. What do you two say? Parents can't force things in the relationship, she asked Jiang's father and mother. Jiang's father was silent, just frowning. Jiang's mother spoke for her husband. This is the only way to deal with it, let it take its course. She looked at her two daughters again. But even if the winner is decided in the end, can the loser really like someone else? Whether it is Jingxi or Qianqian, they are probably more loyal in love than imagined. Otherwise, they would not argue so hard. Tonight, Jiang's father and mother still did not stay in the villa. Grandpa also went back to his room to stay overnight after ending this topic. Zhang Jin, Zhang Jingxi and Fang Meng saw off the elders at the door. Jiang's father looked at the two silent girls and snorted coldly and got in the car. Jiang's mother turned around and said, I'm leaving with your father. Go to bed early tonight. As for Lin Suhengren, the two sisters calmed down. Jiang's mother emphasized, I'm talking about the fact that he came to our house for dinner tonight. After all, he is Jingxi's lifesaver. It's our family's problem that he didn't eat well. Next time, invite him alone again, and the standard should be higher, but you two must never appear at the dinner table tonight to snatch a man like this. Once, it can't be twice, do you hear? The two had to respond. Jiang's mother hummed, okay, you guys go back to your room. No need to see me off. She and her husband got in the car, and the driver closed the door and went back to the driver's seat to drive away. Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingxi watched their parents leave, and accidentally met each other's eyes. The sisters snorted at each other again. They went back to their room angrily. Fang Meng also continued to follow Zhang Jin. In the back seat of the Rolls-Royce leaving the villa, Jiang's mother looked at her husband, who was staring out the window in a bad mood. She touched him with her arm. What's wrong? Why are you still looking so sullen? Isn't the topic over? Father Jiang looked back at his wife. Over? What's over? This is the first day you met Jing Shiqianqian? Don't you know their personalities? If this thing develops to the end, I think one of our two daughters will be single and will never get married. Mother Jiang didn't expect her husband to have the same idea as her, and she was a little distressed. It's really not easy. Our two daughters are both difficult to get emotional. Once they are emotional, they will definitely be crazy. This will definitely be a dead end in the end. Father Jiang looked at the long night and shook his head helplessly, doubting his life, and as a father, seeing the daughters I raised with great difficulty being so close to other men, competing for other men's favor, and even kissing in front of me, my heart is so cold. I'm jealous that Lin Hengren can win the hearts of my two daughters. Mother Jiang couldn't help laughing. You really are. Didn't you say before that you like this son-in-law very much? And you said that you must let him be our son-in-law? Are you not happy now? It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I can't bear to see my daughters being so close to other men. But I think when you left with me, your father-in-law also looked at me this way, right? Jiang's mother smiled. What else? Especially back then, you weren't as outstanding as Lin Hengren, you were just an ordinary person. At that time, my father really didn't want me to be with you at first, Jiang's father said proudly. Yes, but I succeeded in the end. Forget it, let's take it one step at a time. Things will work out when the time comes. Maybe one day in the future, this matter will be solved inexplicably. Jiang's mother shook her head. I can't think of how it will be solved, unless she unexpectedly remembered something her grandfather said. Her husband was puzzled. Jiang's mother laughed. It's okay, just like what you said, things will work out when the time comes. We'll talk about it later. Chapter 300, Hot. At night, Lin Hengren was sent to the gate of the community by the driver, and happened to meet his parents driving back. Lin Hengren looked at the familiar and even old scooter. Mom and Dad. The car stopped, and Lin Yingjin rolled down the window. Ranran? Where have you been again? It's a good time to get in the car and go home, Lin Hengren responded and opened the car door and got in. I just went to a friend's house to play. Mom, who was sitting in the passenger seat, turned around and asked, Friend? Which girl? Yes, it's Jiang Jingshi who visited our house last time. Dad blinked and Mom was stunned. The one whose family is very rich and elegant, and bought a bunch of gifts for our family. Speaking of which, your dad and I haven't touched those gifts yet. Yes, it's her. Did they say that you can just use those gifts and don't have to wait for them to get moldy? People won't take them back, mainly because they are too expensive, but it would definitely be a waste if they get moldy. You can use them as gifts during festivals, Lin Yingjin interrupted, then you have to use them as gifts. This may save a lot of money, Lin Hengren chuckled, but Mom and Dad, why did you two come back so late today? Did you go shopping? I thought you had finished dinner early. Lin Hengren looked at the dinner and some miscellaneous things bought by his parents in the car. It was obvious that they were not planning to go home to cook tonight. Dad said, What time is it now? We can't have dinner yet. Doesn't your mom have to go to Jiangxi Music for an interview tomorrow? Today I went clothes shopping with your mom. I bought some nice clothes for tomorrow. Oh, I see. Lin Xiaoli blinked her innocent eyes, which were sometimes similar to He Qing's eyes. Ranran? Mom wants to ask you something. Didn't you just come back from a trip with Zhao Qing, King Wenli and others the day before yesterday? Why are you going to other girls' homes again, huh? What's wrong? Can we go to other girls' homes to play? Mom pursed her lips and stretched out a finger seriously. Ranran. It's not good to be too fickle. Don't be a scumbag. No way, I'm a pure love party. I won't do that kind of thing of getting tired of the old and liking the new, at least Lin Hengren thinks he is. Although there are more people, it's still pure love. Lin Xiaoli sighed. I can't say anything about you. She turned over again and said, after Mom finishes the interview, let's have a small family meeting and discuss a certain issue seriously. Lin Yingjin nodded. Lin Xiaoli half turned her head to look at her son. Do you know what the content of this meeting is? Lin Hengren smiled and looked out the window. He probably knew what his parents were going to discuss. It was nothing more than about He Qing Wen Lily, Jingxi and others, but he was fearless. Can guess, Lin Xiaoli deliberately rolled her eyes at her son, because she knew that her son's smart head probably guessed it. But even as a mother, she still couldn't tell from her daily actions which girl her son liked more. She always felt that he treated them very balanced. The specific answer seemed to be known only when the family meeting was held. After returning home, the family finished their meal. Lin Zhengren put his mobile phone on the dining table. Now Lin Zhengren's mobile phone is basically silent or vibrating, because there are too many messages to him every night or morning. If the sound is turned on, I am afraid it will ring endlessly. After dinner, Lin Zhengren returned to the bedroom to reply to the messages of the 3 little girls one by one. Jingxi also sent some messages. Zheng, the driver told me that you were home. I am sorry that I didn't let you have a good meal tonight. I really didn't expect what happened tonight, Lin Zhengren replied to Jingxi briefly. Jin's unexpected attack was indeed unpredictable. Moreover, her declaration of love seemed to be a confession, but in fact it was more like expressing her thoughts alone. A confession that does not require the other party's consent will not fail after it is spoken. This is also the most troublesome thing for Jingxi. One's sister's confidence is definitely not something that people can care about, especially with a 4-year university. While Lin Zhengren was replying to Jingxi's message, unexpectedly, Zhang Jin also sent Lin Zhengren a message. Lin Zhengren, I am really sorry for kissing you without permission tonight. I know I should explain to you in person, and I know you probably have a lot to say to me, so I will personally meet with you to discuss this matter in a while. At that time, I will listen to everything you want to say word by word. Zhang Jin sent Zhang Jin's message was very formal, like a letter. Lin Zhengren wanted to reply after seeing the message. As a result, he saw her send a message instantly. Sorry, Lin Zhengren, I'm too nervous. I'm afraid you'll send me a message on WeChat, but I can't block you, so I'm going to throw my phone away. If you send me a message again, I may not see it. I apologize again. Lin Zhengren sent a message. There was no reply on the phone. Lying on the bed and looking at the quiet screen, sweat on his forehead, this guy got away with one strike, right, putting down the phone. By the way, Zhang Jin and Fang Meng's aspirations are Stanford University, right? It stands to reason that they should go abroad in a while, but tonight Zhang Jin said that they will go to college for 4 years. He was helpless. They won't change their aspirations, right? On the other side, in the villa where the Zhang sisters live, the elder sister Jingxi was lying on the bed in pink pajamas. After chatting with Lin Zhengren for a while, she felt much better. But she was also more and more worried that Qian might really snatch Lin Zhengren away in the next 4 years. I have to be careful of Qian, and the younger sister Jingjin was the same as the message she sent to Lin Zhengren at this moment. After struggling for half a night before sending that message, Jingjin turned off her cell phone and threw it into the trash can. She poured water into the trash can until the cell phone was submerged and completely dead, then she slowly breathed a sigh of relief. But after she breathed a sigh of relief, she was still nervous. Sitting on the bed in gray and black pajamas, the moonlight shone through the window on Jingjin's profile, and her snow-white thighs were stepping on slippers. The cold second lady gently touched her red lips with her hand. Although she and Lin Zhengren only had a simple lip collision during dinner, the brief touch of the lips still made her savor it and made her heart beat faster. The blush on her face could not dissipate for a long time. My first kiss is gone. Jingjin looked at the ground with cold eyes, thinking about something in her heart. The two sisters were destined to have trouble sleeping tonight, and Fang Meng, who also lived in the villa, was the same. Everything that happened today was very sudden, and she also knew that as an assistant, she could not say anything in this environment. If she wanted to have Lin Zhengren, Fang Meng knew that at least she had to make some changes in the future. She walked to the trash can in the room, took out the white hair that she had thrown away during the day, and stared blankly. Student Lin Zhengren is really popular. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.